Welcome back, everyone, to another Racing Post Live. It's Wednesday. It's day 2 of glorious Goodwood 2021. First thing to tell you, well, it's dried up a little bit. Thank goodness for that. Still officially soft on the straight sprint course, but it's a little bit better on the round course. There's hope for us yet. The market still found many, many winners yesterday, as did James Millman on our panel yesterday. He was on great form. Graham Rodway was with us as well, telling tales, giving you all the steers. What fun we had. Welcome along. Stick with us this afternoon for real-time analysis and reaction as well with, of course, our sponsors, the Betfair Exchange. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. Facebook Live, welcome along to the party. Get the chat generating. This is the place to be if you want to shout out. And of course, anything on Twitter, it's hashtag RP Live. Who've we got with us then this afternoon? Oh, I'm going to have my work cut out, aren't I? Mattie Batch comes back onto the panel.
How are you, Dave?
Mattie Batchelor, how are you, my friend? Still, of course, a regular race riding jockey.
Yes, still going. Had a winner in June. What's so funny?
Charlie Post joins us as well. Let's get it out of
He's
the
off
way.
already.
So last time we saw you, Batch, you were preparing, you had a regime going, didn't you? You were off, all the vices, all that sort of stuff. You were, ready for your Jersey trip, COVID aware, all that sort of stuff. You went over. The good news is...
Had a winner.
Hey, happy
Third meeting
days.
in, had a winner for Neil Mulholland, so just proves there's a lot of life in this old dog yet.
What was the name of the horse? It was...
Man of the Sea.
Yes, of course, in the famous yellow and green colours.
Yeah, Mike Burbage's colours, yeah.
Fancied, was it?
Yeah, very much.
I imagine it's great over there, is it? Posty, welcome back. Have you ever been over there racing?
No, I never got as far as Jersey, to be honest. I think certainly within the weighing room, Batchy sort of had that sewn up. It was very much his gig, and
The Jersey Royal, they must call it.
Jersey
wasn't it?
Royal, yeah.
Was your nickname Spud over there? Was it?
he kind of monopolised that famous racing jurisdiction, and you couldn't really get in without Batchy's say so.
Yeah.
But you have been round Goodwood, so you're going to give us an insight into that. You fancy a few today for the viewers, don't you?
Yeah, fancy a few, yeah. I don't know if Posty's been around there. They have a jump jockey race there every year.
You riding that?
No, I've never got a ride in that either.
Yeah, I steered him off of that as well.
There is a hierarchy, and you are doing the trading today for Betfair, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I was announced that not only the exchange, but also the sports book has been chucked into the equation.
But joins the party these days, my friend.
Walk in and Dan, one of the producers, he chucks that upon my plate, and it's been hard enough keeping on top of the Betfair Exchange. So with the two things to go from, it could be chaos, yeah.
Not just the viewers learning then today, also Charlie Post.
Every day's a school day, yeah.
I imagine Barry Orr, the big hitter himself from Betfair, will be loving hearing this.
Yeah, it's foolproof. Don't worry about it, lads. Can't go wrong.
Barry, great to have you back on day 2. We're staring down the barrel still, aren't we? But you ended on a real high yesterday, man. Lord Ridderford has quickly become one of your favourites.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. He's a nice horse. John Quinn, good trainer. The first and second in the race with Al Astronaut. They finished in second. But Holly Doyle, what a great day for her. She finished up riding a treble. So be interesting. We put Mr. G-Rod's theory to the test, whereas his theory went, or his thesis went, that if she rides a winner, Tom Marquand always responds. So I'm expecting a Tom Marquand treble today.
Well, that would be great, wouldn't it? Of course. So Graham Rodway yesterday said basically when Holly gets one, it fires Tom up. Tom being the partner, and that hasn't been borne out yet. But Tom's got a strong book, hasn't he? Kashari in the first, and horses like that. Barry. So listen, we know, and the regular viewers do as well. But for anyone new, you're showcasing the functionality exchange, but also now the sportsbook comes into play as well.
Yeah, on the exchange, we're just showing how it's different to the sports book and what you can do. You can set your own prices. You can lay horses, or you can be the other side of the bet and be a backer. So on the sports book, then there's all sorts of enhanced place terms. And we just want to show people how that works. And we're doing it all for charity as well. So anything we make will be going to retraining of racehorses for the month of July. I think we're winning a few quid so far, £350 or something like that. So, it's just to show people the functionality of both exchange and sportsbook and how you can play differently on Betfair.
Absolutely. You don't have to play in every single race. This is where we have the fun. We'll be breaking all the news to you. I very much doubt you got the Stradivarius non-runner news anywhere quicker than here yesterday, thanks to Lee Mattershead, our man on track. Check out your members section. Of course, I've got an offer to tell you about there a little bit later on as well. It's all happening here on Racing Post Live, but only on day 2 of what is a glorious week. There's the market for the first. A really, really tricky handicap. Before we talk about what the meeting means to the chaps in the studio, let's go to Barry. Let's get days 2 trading out the way. Come on, Barry, what's the first one?
Right, okay. Well, the first race, obviously, the 150. It's a 1.5 mile handicap. A lot of well-exposed horses in here. And at the moment, it's 4-1 to field. 5.0 Skigani. Nagano is 5-7. 8-6 Kailashi. Pleasant Man is 10. We've seen some money on the sports book actually for one in this race, Dave. Recovery Run, Andrew Baldings and Oisin Murphy. A lot of his horses have been popular today. That was 20-1. It's into 12-1 Recovery Run now. But the horse I like in it is Irish Legend, rated 91. Ran well to finish third to Fox's Tail. And Visualization in the Golden Gates at Royal Ascot over a mile too. The winner beaten ahead, trying to give £9 to Dubai Honour in Newmarket. Second hasn't run since, but he's highly thought of by Joseph O'Brien. That Visualization. And then he stepped up to a mile and a half in Royal Ascot handicap. He was ridden very chilly by Jamie Spencer that day. Left him with quite a bit to do. He went for a run up the rail. All the action was taking place in the centre of the track. So we're very straightforward here, Posty, to kick us off. We're going to back him win in place. We're going to have 25 quid on him in the win market, where he's currently trading at 12.5. Irish Legend, number 7.
Irish Legend, place bet.
Number 7, yeah. So select him.
So and then the win bet's done. And then what, just a place bet, yeah?
And we're just going to go to the place market. And you can bet each way here. You can bet 2 places, 3 places, which is the standard, or an additional place, which is the 4. We're just going to go place. So if you go in the place market, which is 3 places here, we're going to have 25 quid on him. He's a 3-1 chance, 4.0. We're going to have 25 quid on him there. Jamie Spencer in the plate again. I think he should go well.
It could be a big day for Spencer Barry, couldn't it? He's got the ride, of course, on Snow Lantern a little bit later on. Sean Levy, unluckily suspended in the Group 1, the big Sussex. OK, before we go on, Barry, let's get this out the way. There's one pivotal horse, a little bit like Trushant, running yesterday in the Goodwood Cup, the Group 1 of the day. This afternoon's a Group 1. We've got a hot pot, haven't we? Poetic Flair, who has been fantastic. His Royal Ascot win put him up there with the best horses in the world. Different ground today. He's a short price. You're taking him on.
Yeah, it's different ground today. He's drawn 2. He's not sure to get that good pace that he had in Ascot when Ontario and Namoose went off in front and set really, really strong fractions. He seemed to benefit from that. He's not getting it this time round. Having said that, when I was looking to lay him, he was around a 5-4 chance, or 11-8. He's out to 7-4 in the exchange now, 2.72. So he's getting really, really big. But I think alcohol free, the Coronation Stakes winner, has a big chance. And the other filly in the race, Snow Lantern, that won the Falmouth and turned around that Coronation Stakes form. There are 2 fillies that have been really well supported. So I think a 3-year-old will win it, but I think it could be a 3-year-old filly. So happy to take on Poetic Flair, but I wouldn't want to be going any bigger than 2.72 now for the Guineas winner. And at St. James's Palace, he was so impressive there. But I think the ground, the draw, and he's not sure of a pace here. The pace angle is a little bit disrupted. Century Dream might go off in front, but yeah, I'm going to take him on. I think there's some real viable options against him in there.
Oh, there you go then. The big hitter, that's the juicy one. Tom Segal wanted to take him on. I wanted to take him on as well. I won't tease you with what now. We will be previewing all these races for you. That's the 335, of course, our penultimate race. You're keen to take him on, Posty, as well.
Yeah, I love the horse. It's just purely from a point of view that scintillating performance at Royal Ascot was on quick ground.
Rattling,
and yes, he did run well enough in an Irish Guineas on slow ground, but there's no doubt it seemed the faster the surface seemed to ring out an even better performance. And I think there's just question marks, aren't there? Like you say, the pace angle as well, and it's enough at a short price to be against him rather than with him today.
Batch,
taking him on with one of the 3-year-old fillies, but yeah.
All right, there you are then. Poetic Flair. We're taking him on in the studio. Are we crazy? Let us know. Get your selections in. We'll give you a shout out. Let's come back to this race then. I like Nagano in this, guys, to reverse the form, that Royal Ascot form with Siskany. He was knocked over, wasn't he, in running? I know Siskany got a little bit hampered as well. I think he'll go on the ground. He's impressed me a little bit. His form away from that Royal Ascot run is, I'm surprised he's not favourite. It's Nagano for me in the first. Posty.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like you said, there's 2 bits of form here, isn't there? There's the Royal Ascot form behind Surefire, and then there's the Ascot form again recently behind First Light in a slowly run, what was a very slowly run race. Barry's obviously gone with Irish Legend again, that was unsuited, dropped in that contest. I'm going to go with another one that I think was slightly unsuited in there, Pleasant Man of Roger Charlton's again. I'm slightly worried about the fact that maybe he lacks a bit of tactical speed round Goodwood, but it was slow ground yesterday. I think it's going to be even more hard work today, and I think if Kieran Schumacher can sort of keep tabs on them and keep them in a place to strike, I think he could be one that just on an upward sort of profile, but And again, I would fancy him to turn around the form with the likes of Glenn again, that was able to sort of set very steady fractions in that race at Ascot. And I'd be surprised if we're going to get that again today. I mean, normally around Goodwood, you are fairly sure you're going to get a decent gallop to aim at.
Well, you'd like to think so. They went some decent paces yesterday. Yeah. Again, if you're new to Goodwood this week, I'm sure most of you are seasoned pros with it, it's that far rail, isn't it, where you can get some horrid runs through. Batch, who are you expected to come out on top?
I know you've got to look at the King George form, but I do like the Haggis horse. Khaleesi, is it?
Khaleesi,
Khaleesi.
yes.
I know, listen, it's only run at Salisbury, Nottingham and Ripon, but
this could be the Tom Marquand winner.
This is what I mean,
How has G-Rod's been going on this? Because last time I was on, he was on a very dry spell.
Oh no, he's come good, Barry, hasn't he? The hoodoo's gone. It's a long time. He's actually handed it to me, I think.
Has he?
Yeah, I'm actually catching.
The corner, all right. He's turned the corner from Bad Beat Boulevard onto Lucky Street. Yeah, he made that left turn.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he walks in the studio a bit like this now. He's got the buzz about him, the big bear, absolutely. So listen, he's catching to me a little bit. I am really quite sweet on the Gano. He's in stall 10. Khaleesi. This one at Salisbury, didn't it? Made it third time lucky. And Tony Ennis was commentating that day, and he basically texted me. He said, "I've spoken to young Kieran Fallon." He said, "The Haggis thing in this novice, it's slow. Once further, we've got to get with the Godolphin horse. Of course, it goes and hacks up. I'll give him some sledging, don't you?"
And he stepped up as well, and it just looks like an improving type. And
sort of race the Mr. Haggis target successfully, isn't it?
Yeah. I like your also Nagano. I used to work for the Hurstman Stud. Used to do a lot of breaking in down there. It's only down the road from me, and it's a great setup. He spends a lot of money, the owner, and on good, well-bred horses, and the facilities there are second to none. So it's nice to see him do well. Yeah.
You were down there yesterday, Posty.
Yeah, as in it's an annual sort of family trip with my in-laws. So we go down, stay in Midhurst on Monday.
Missed it last year, of course. So.
Sorry?
Missed it last year, of course, so
we still went down and stayed.
Did you?
Yeah, but did go racing.
Yeah. That must have been a bit weird. Yeah. That's happening in Galway at the moment, is it? Of course, we chatted about that on the show yesterday.
But we went that. We have a big picnic in the car park before racing.
See a few faces?
See a few faces. I was saying, we then have a picnic afterwards, and they always have this champagne bottle thrown at a bin. Everyone puts a tenner in.
Empty bottles, obviously. Don't tell me that.
Yeah.
Not throwing it away, man.
They're empty by this
I know you're not shy of a few quid, Posty, but throwing.
Roger Teal rocked up, had a winner yesterday.
Well, indeed, didn't he?
He's a better trainer than he is a champagne bottle thrower, I reckon.
You think he'd be a good thrower because he looks like a shot put. He's quite built like a shot put.
Makes me look like Batch, doesn't he? So he's like
Twiggy. You look like Twiggy.
The jersey. It's the first time I've heard that.
Maybe it was that he'd celebrated a Goodwood Festival winner, and it had affected the radar a little bit, you know.
Was he on good form, Roger?
He was in great form.
It's great to hear because, of course, Oxted is super sprinter. He's out for the year, isn't it? So he can't keep a good man down. I've interviewed him recently. He's a lovely character. And, of course, Holly Doyle had the 3-timer yesterday, the hat-trick, didn't she? So, listen, when Holly's riding 3 winners, and it started off with Trushan, of course, and then, a couple after we went off, Lord Ridderford, Barry's big hit yesterday as well. Again, when Holly gets the bit between her teeth.
Oh, yeah, she's... I mean, and of course, Alan King, the dual purpose, and Anthony Gemmell, the owner, he was there. It was good to see him there as well. He loves his racing. It's just
first Group 1 winner for Alan.
Yeah, Group 1 win on the flat.
And Kingy afterwards sort of said, "It's my first runner in a Group 1, by the way, as well." I thought it wonderfully flagged as well.
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought that, would you? You would have thought he'd had a few runners in.
Yeah, but he has tried to concentrate more on the flat.
You just presume that he's because he's Alan King and what he does on the flat and jumping.
Yeah, you remember in 2020 he had the 3-timer, wasn't it? At the hat, was it?
Yeah, 3 at Ascot.
It was 3 at Ascot, wasn't it? Yeah. With Holly and Tommy kicked off their first.
But they've all been sort of like dual-purpose handicappers. Like, as in, but there's no doubt that there's a serious shift. I mean, he keeps saying, "I just want to chain good horses. I don't mind if it's flat or jump."
Some of them have gone abroad, over the years. He had a very good stay. His first Royal Ascot winner, I forget. It turned into a horse called Gold Mount. I remember that. What was it called? The name of that horse. Viewers, help us out. We will get it.
Nativo.
Posty. For a man that has been throwing champagne bottles at bins after racing.
2 hours sleep.
It's fair to say he's not had the most sleep. That was sharp.
So again, this trip gets organised every year. So, Rob, the producer, I mean, I don't hear from him a lot at the moment. I mean, which is another bugbear of mine. Then all of a sudden, he gets in touch, and so I book in for Friday. I think perfect. I'll do Friday. I'll finish my trip away. I'll get home on Wednesday. Good night's sleep. Bit of research on Thursday. I'll be good to go. And all of a sudden, he says, "Can you do Wednesday?" And I said, "Well, not really, because I'm away, but I'm travelling back. But I left him the caveat that if you're really stuck, I suppose I can make it happen. And he went,
go-to man that is Poste.
and he just went, cheers, see you Wednesday then, you know. So I was like, yeah, so...
You do feel a little bit left out, don't you, when the old flat season starts, and all of a sudden you get a text, you think, oh, someone's dropped out.
Oh, here we go. Yeah,
Someone's dropped out.
you can tell the jockeys are in today, can't you? We're having loads of fun. Of course, look, for those of you that don't know, you did, of course, start off with flat aspirations, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, because I was very small, I did ride on the flat initially. I was at Richard Fahey's for a couple of years, so yeah, it was good fun. I mean, at the time I never really wanted to ride in the flat, and then you become more cynical and mercenary about life and realise there's a heck of a lot more money to be made, and yeah, it would have been nice to stay small for longer.
Yeah, beer puts on the pounds, Poste,
Oh,
as
it
well,
does,
doesn't it?
right.
So you were always heading to the jump sphere, I think. All right,
It was when I
okay.
took nutritional advice from you that really messed everything up.
He is on form, isn't he? Great to see Posty back in the studio. And so how was the betting yesterday? That's the other thing to ask. Let's get this all out of the way. Your day yesterday.
Steady, to be honest. Yeah, as in
Not the word you described it to me as
I
when we
wasn't
came
at
into
my
the
best,
studio.
as in.
No. So
And
what?
then,
Yeah, okay.
whatever my best is. So I'm hoping to get back on track.
What is the big hope for Posty today of the stage? Is it Pleasant Man at first?
Yeah, I mean, I actually really like Pleasant Man. Actually, yeah, I like, you know, I really like Kieran Schumacher, and he's got a couple of
remember
big
you're a
days
fan
now.
of his.
Tilsit in the Sussex, and of course the filly tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or Friday in the Nassau? Lady Bowthorpe.
There you are. She wasn't. Oh my goodness! Again, eye-popping run, wasn't it, in the Falmouth?
Yeah.
The form of which we're going to see. Shall we get some housekeeping out of the way? I know we've got some socials built up. We do have, and I've got to kind of read this a little bit. Listen, on the Racing Post this week, we've done this over the months, haven't we? We've got an offer for you. It's called Get Ultimate Yearly. So if you're not, involved over the members section yet, you can do so and get 20% off for the year. That's fiscally quite a good offer, let me tell you. So basically, if you want to enter the code Good Year, that's what gets your money off. Sunday the 1st of August, this expires basically. So Good Year, go in, do it, and that is your promo code. So 20% off. There you go. I think I got that nearly right. They'll tell me in my area if I didn't. Let us get some socials kicked off. Frizzy Red kicks off this Wednesday, a wonderful Wednesday, shall we call it. Recovery Run. Isabella Giles, that runs a little bit later on, and each way double. Barry, let's throw that to you. You like the Isabella, you're giving her another chance.
I do, yeah. I think she'll go well. Obviously, she won at the meeting last year. She was a very impressive winner at the meeting, and I think the ground won't be that bad for her. I thought her run into Sandy Lane, I really liked that. I like that run in that she wasn't beaten too far, and especially on this sort of ground. So, yeah, give her a bit of an each-way chance today. Just flag up Anna Dale. Joe Fanning in the pay here has been really well supported.
Okay.
Was 14. He's at the 9.2 now. So he's the springer in the market.
You have to think he's going to be up there, Annandale, don't you, I would imagine. So Frizzy Red got it off. Paul Ridgway comes on and says, Nagano, very hard to beat with an interference-free run. Couldn't have put it better myself, Paul. Couldn't have put it better myself. Yeah, that's what it's going to be all about. Let's hope for a migration, shall we? See that in the first race yesterday. Woo, David Manouzier.
Yeah.
Gosh, that was could have won any way like, couldn't it?
It was very, very good, wasn't it? And again, another, talking about Roger Teal, and I mean, David Manouzier, a very good operator as well.
We were saying that yesterday on the show. Sometimes it looks like you're carrying favour, but he's a serious character, isn't he? He's
Going back to Nagano, again, do you worry about the fact that he's inclined to race behind the bridle a little bit?
Possibly. Is that not ideal for Goodwood? Batch, I should be throwing this to you.
No, you need to hold your position well around there, Posty, don't you? So if you're losing positions, because just remember, it's a lot on the incline, so you don't want to be making ground up there. You want to be saving, and you want your horse to be
Never
travelling.
ask a horse up a hill. That was an AP one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember Timmy Murphy always used to say, he said, never, if your horse is not travelling, he's not quick enough or good enough to go, you've got to go their own pace, because if you're using them up to hold a position, towards the end of the race, you're not going to have a lot left.
You want to have that free wheel. What's it like, the hill going down, just into the home straight? Is it like, whoo, here we go?
That's not. It goes a steady climb down and then just sort of gets into the straight.
I can imagine jerseys like that, is it?
It's not Sedgefield, put it that way.
Is that right? You're braver than the rest of us.
If David Egan turns in on Nagano, would you rather he stays out a bit?
I would. Yes, and they were coming down the middle yesterday, weren't they? It is quicker, just to remind you, the ground drying up. Dry nights at Goodwood, quicker on the round course, not so sure about the straight course. So, a reminder of the tips again. Barry Orr bidding to sign off, or start where he signed off yesterday, I should say. Irish Legend, Nagano for me, Pleasant Man, and...
Colossi.
Oh, there you go. We've got you covered, basically, haven't we? Keep your viewer interaction coming in. You make the show. We absolutely love it. They are down at the start. What was it like then with the full crowd experience yesterday?
It actually seemed quite quiet there, being honest, compared to...
Is that because of the rain they had, do you think? Maybe the late comes off or something like that?
Maybe it did. But I mean, look, it was great to be back racing and seeing some, proper atmosphere with enough people there. But it certainly wasn't like a beautiful sunny day and Goodwood absolutely jam-packed,
Yeah.
So there was no restrictions there at all yesterday?
No.
I mean, I love Goodwood. It's great. I mean, 2 days, the missus goes, the house is peaceful and quiet. It's brilliant.
Oh, dear, oh, Lord. Okay, great stuff. All right, so I'm going to be calling the races today, and I'll be hopefully cheering you on. A recovery run, Frizzy Rev mentioned that as well. Paul Keeley has put that up in the Sizzlers. Small matter of Galway carrying on as well. They switched to the jumps card. We'll be talking a little bit about Galway when we get time. There's a hell of an incident there last night, wasn't there? We'll get your thoughts on that. The horse that never was, basically. And I'm sure Barry will have a line on that as well. It's a busy news week, this, but it is a great week to be on planet Earth, that is for sure. Goodwood and Galway. Racing League, of course, starting on Thursday as well. We'll get maybe a word from you both on that. Gone under the radar somewhat, hasn't it? But it's all kicking off, basically. So 1 or 2 more to go in. Barry, then a final look at the market. Have they finally worked out who's going to be favourite here, man?
No, it's joint at the moment. 5.5 Siscani and Nagano. Kalishi 9-2. Pleasant Man 10-8 Annandale. Like I said, he's the big springer in the race. Some money for Irish Legend into 13.5. Haven't driven it out to 16.
Thank you, Barry. They are off then for the 150. The first race here of 5. We're bringing you on RP Live this Wednesday. Who's going to take them on? As I thought, surprise, surprise, Joe Fanning, the money horse, Annandale, right up there with Pied Piper. Hasn't quite shown his best so far for John Gosden, but just about maybe shading lead on the inside. Surprise, surprise, Frankie Dettori. Let's look for some of the big guns then. Siscani, lovely pitch there under Will Buick. Khaleesi, looking for him. Yeah, in midfield. He won't want to be too far away. He's perhaps a little bit free. Looking back for Nagano at the minute. I'm assuming, yeah, he's right under restraint, isn't he? We kind of thought that would be the case. Couple out the back like Chase the Dollar for Mark Johnson as well. Mark Johnson traditionally does well in this race. King's Prince as well on the inside. Right, Posty, what sort of pace
Irish
are they going?
Legend.
Where is he, Barry? Irish Legend.
Very
He's
keen.
pulling the arms out
Yeah.
of Jamie
They're
Spencer.
going
out
slow,
the
that's
back,
why I think,
second
isn't it?
last.
Very keen.
They're going
Yeah,
slow.
can't
Is it,
settle him.
is it because they're going slow
I
then?
think it is, yeah.
Oh, you don't want to be...
Sectional times there looks...
I don't want to be with
fairly
Nagano there then, do I? Okay, so
really.
Frankie in front. Whenever you're riding in a race, I guess you see Frankie up front and you're right out the back, you're like, oh, great, here we go. Anchor dropped.
Yeah, without doubt, crikey. I mean, the bloke's an absolute genius, isn't he? One of the best ever, and you can almost see though all the way up the hill here on Pied Piper. He's sort of filling the horse up, taking him back, trying to make sure that he's saving. As we discussed earlier, you don't want to be making ground uphill, and Frankie is really stacking him up down to 30 mile an hour travelling along now before they're going to freewheel into the straight. And certainly, if you're dropped in, Jamie Spencer still having his arms pulled out, it's going to make it difficult, I would imagine, coming from off the pace.
I imagine turning in then Siscani must have gone low, Barry, or has he?
No, it's 5 Siscani, 7 Nagano,
Wow.
9-2 Kalishi. The one in front is out to 20 now.
Okay, so maybe they think that
Annandale 5.5.
Let's have a look for this Abdullah horse as well. Fably as well for Rafe Beckett. Had a good day
off the
yesterday.
bridle
didn't he?
now.
He's coming now, Fably. Okay, this is where the closers will start. Nagano starts to mount his run. No trouble for Nagano. Siscani still going really well as well. Recovery run not done with. Going to need some luck. Koshari feeling the pinch. Here comes Nagano again, guys. Batch, call it.
Yeah, he's finding... he's making ground.
And then the winner, man. Call the winner. Come on, Nagano. What have we got
Nagano,
here?
yeah.
Siscani, I mean, surely this wins for
He
me, isn't
wins,
it?
it
Go on,
wins for
Nagano.
me, Dave,
Siscani
eh?
and him locking horns.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of trouble in running there, but as long as he keeps going, this looks like it might be another
Yeah.
foul. Come on, finally I can get a winner on the board, can't I? Don't tread water now, man. A recovery run coming as well. Irish Legend has won well, considering he pulled the arms out.
drifting across, but he
Nagano's
still
drifting a
wins.
little bit, but David Egan, I think, is he doing enough?
Yeah, he
Just
wins.
doing enough. Woo! Pressure
Hey.
off. I'll tell you what, I was naught from yesterday. You've brought the luck for me, boys. We're off and running.
Very good, very straightforward. And like we said about, I mean, he's come from probably a slightly unpromising position, slotted in, but he did manage to stay wide. So he's able to come with one constant run and not had his rhythm checked at all. Which I think is very important on a horse that's just a galloper around this sort of track.
Yeah, I came to you, Barry, also turning in. I felt sure that Siscani would have gone into clear favouritism because they hadn't gone quick. He had the box seat, but that was some timing from David Egan, wasn't it, on Nagano?
Yeah, Siscani only went to a low of 4.2, so a little over 3-1. Nagano matched at a high of 10 for 33 quid. Outside of that, not a whole lot of them got into it. Annadale hit a low of 2.58. That was the lowest of the losers in running. 2.58 traded at for around only small money, 13 quid at 2.6. So, yeah, interesting race. My horse ran on to finish fourth, obviously, because we backed it in 3 places. But pulled his chance away, no doubt. But no, well supported winner at Betfair SB at 5.6. Siscani was Betfair SB at 5.4.
Yeah, close but no cigar then for Barry Orr in the first. He ran well there, Irish Legend, didn't he? Considering he was dirt keen, wasn't he?
Dropped right in, keen off a relatively slow tempo, and he's actually made good late headway.
Yeah, Hugo's Palmer horses, they've found an extra leg of late as well.
I think you'll see a lot of lads coming, like Miles there. I think Tom will come in and say that the pace hasn't suited because he's
a stayer in the making.
Yeah, he's pulling his arms out too. He's just doing too much. He's running with the choke out. So.
Recovery Run ran a biggie for some of you out there as well. I know Frizzy Red and a couple of you are out there as well. Oshin Murphy, that will give the bit between the teeth for Oshin. Of course, he's got alcohol free coming up, hasn't he? And the Sussex, huge ride. I think she's got a massive chance in that. He's run well considering close, but this boy Egan, he rides Goodwood particularly well. He's probably one of the world's best jockeys. We know that from Mishriff, don't we, really? But what he did there was exactly what I hoped he'd do. From the wide draw, get him out the back, wait your time, come off the turn, then go. Unlike Siscani, who just had to wait slightly for his challenge under Will Buick, under James Doyle, I should say. That got first run. And he definitely idled Poste, didn't he? I thought he was going to win easy, and then
he did that classic that you see a bit at Goodwood. He sort of rolled a bit left, to bat over towards the stands, and still looks like a horse that's quite raw, doesn't he? As in like he's a young horse, very much on the up, but he's still got plenty of sort of learning and furnishing to do. And I mean, he looks. I mean, again, it's always slightly wary saying it off the TV, but he looks like a big horse as well. Like that's going to fill out more and has plenty of improvement still to come. And like I say, he looked very much like a work in progress. And David Egan's a young man, like you say. I mean, he's probably already there, but very much on the rise, isn't he? And this was it was a sort of horse that you could probably get yourself into trouble around Goodwood if you ended up going for that sort of run up the inside.
He's ridden to orders there then.
He kept it simple. Yeah. It's after Ascot, I think you had to do that because of the way the horse runs a little bit behind the bridle. It's helped him a lot today because there was no pace. He switched off out the back. He's saving energy all the time. So there's no way you're going to make the same mistake twice. There's no way you'd go up the inner, round Goodwood, keep it simple, come wide and make a run. And that's what he's done. Very
interesting indeed. I'll tell you what, Barry, you won't want to watch the head-on. Irish Legend, he got no run as well on the inside.
Yeah, I'd say he's a bit of a monkey as well, Dave. Like when Frankie dropped the anchor, they weren't going fast enough for Irish, so he was pulling his chances away. But he wears the blinkers as well. I'd say he's a real monkey now. Everything need to fall right for him to win a race.
Guess maybe that's why they put Spencer on, wasn't it? Of course, Jamie Spencer, big ride for him. Snow Lantern. That's a really interesting one, actually, isn't it? Hannon's going for Spencer. It's not really an association you would think of too obviously, is it?
No.
Levy, of course, suspended.
I don't know, would it have been the owner? I don't know. Yeah, as you say, it's a funny...
Possibly, yeah, because it suggests that they're going to want to drop right on the line. Now, when she won the Falmouth Snow Lantern, of course, she got there right on the line, didn't she?
I'd say they've got to be worried about her over-racing a bit. She can run with the choke out, can't she? And maybe they're thinking that, there's not that many better in the job than Jamie Spencer at switching horses off and producing them late,
Yeah, apart from yourself, Poste.
Yeah.
Said the Jersey Royal. Barry, are you basically agreeing with that, the fact that she can over-race?
Yeah, I think it's more about Spencer. It's more about getting her settled because, by all accounts, Sean Levy's done great work at her at home. She can be a bit topsy turvy to filly, and she can get very unsettled, which we've seen as well in a couple of races already. But I think the owner has a bit of a history with Jamie Spencer as well.
Okay.
Soft hands with her.
Soft hands indeed, softest in the business perhaps. Some timekeeping for you. First race, slow by nearly 9 seconds.
Yeah, you could see the sectionals. 13 seconds, 14
Frankie and
seconds.
Joe Fanning up front. You're not going to get a breakneck. They're too wily to take each other on up front, aren't they? Yeah. Okay, who had Nagano out there? Let us know. Let us know your naps. Let us know your selections for later on in the week as well. We've got it all to come, haven't we, of course? Super action all the way. Group races for you, basically the next 3. And then we finish at 4:10 with the fillies conditions race. Really interesting one for the 2-year-olds at 4:10. So 1:30, 4:10 each day this week. We are with you. Myself, Dave Orton, Mattie, Batchelor, Charlie Poste and Barry Orr with me all week as well. Okay. So, yeah, still obviously some juice on the round course, isn't there? Let's face it. What have we got coming up next then? Yeah, we're still on the round course, aren't we?
What does that time equate to ground-wise?
It's more soft. But you'd have to allow for the pace slack.
Yeah, the lack of pace.
This second race will tell us when it's over 7 furlongs. Okay, there's the BSP as well for Nagano as well. It's where you find the value, isn't it? Let's face it, guys, on the exchange, the real market. Okay, close then, Barry, in the opener, the 150. We must move on. What time is it? The 2:25. That gives us 25 minutes to build up. We'll get some stories from the chaps as well. Don't go anywhere if you're watching us here on Racing Post Live. Like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. That is the play there, isn't it? Okay, Barry, let's move on to the next race, guys. Can we? Thank you very much, guys, in the gallery. There it appears. VAR Dream, VA Dream, however we say it. This is another one for Spencer. Does it win, Barry?
Yeah, Bad Dream, 5.5 favourite at the moment. Just ahead of Bounce the Blues, who's 6. 7-6 Isabella Giles. Highfield Princess, 8-6. 9-6 Onassis, and it's 12 bar Mia Moore, 12. I think the 3-year-old fillies will hold sway here, Dave. And Mia Moore was impressive in Carlisle on good to firm ground, though, so she's meeting very different ground. Isabella Giles in the Poste Stakes here last year over 7 furlongs. Won by 7 lengths on soft ground as well, was very impressive. 6 to Rohan and Dragon Symbol second in the Sandy Lane, only beat 2.5 lengths on soft ground as well in Haydock that day. So I thought that was a pretty decent run in light of what they have gone on to achieve, the couple of horses that had finished in front of her. I think back to this track, she might she showed a bit of a liking for it before. So what we're going to do here, please, Posty, it was 5 places on the sportsbook with all the non-runners now. What the bane of a punter, all these non-runners. It's reduced to 4 places on the sportsbook, but that's still an enhanced place term because it should only be 3. So we're getting an additional place here. We're just going to look to have 25 quid each way or at 6 to 1. So if you select her there,
just in the win market, Barry. Sorry, just straight in the win market. On the sportsbook. Yeah. Sorry.
So you go to the sportsbook.
Yep. Yeah, Isabella Giles. Yeah.
Isabella Giles. Yeah. Select that.
Hang on a sec. We've got it. There's a.
I think you need you've highlighted the runners there.
You need to refresh the page, man. I mean, Batch is loving this.
Started off so well.
Right. I mean, but I don't like as in. I mean, the technology in here.
Mostly we're off at 4:20.
I believe Barry called it foolproof.
So we're going each way. Each way, is that right? A 6 to 1?
There we go. Select the horse, and we're going to have 25. If you populate in the bet slip, 25 quid, and then select where it says each way. Click each way.
Yeah, I'm on each way. And we can place that 4 places.
Bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Place bet.
Actually, I mean, it's Thank you for that, Barry.
That's 7th for
Thank you. Thank you, Posty.
That's there we
go.
go.
The 2 in there.
Yeah, I mean, the absolute
wishing for you to get it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Batch was mopping his brow there. You couldn't see off air. This is why you come in, Batch, isn't it? You absolutely loved it. Honestly, when he found out he had to go between screens and stuff today, listen, we let's bring it back. Posty has done an absolutely commendable job with the trading. Listen, we get guys from the Racing Post in here to do it at the moment. Barry can't be in the studio. We know that because of COVID. We're lucky enough to have Barry on Skype, though. So we are controlling it here in the studio, and we get professionals at it, basically. Posty came in during the winter, and it was like a duck to water.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it was beginner's luck or not, I don't know. But
I think it's just proof there it was, wasn't it?
The jury's out on that at the moment.
What did you say earlier? Lucky you kept your licence for a bit, isn't it? Because this has got your name all over it, this computer, at some point, mate.
Yeah,
it can't be too long. Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious me. Anyway, so we're having a bit of fun. But the good thing about it is, some of you out there, and I do get people a lot of the time, especially since I've been back out racing, we didn't really know what this show was all about. We absolutely love it. Some absolute novices that have just loved being able to come out of lockdown and go to something like a racecourse, which is extremely social. They listen to this, they're learning about it all the time. and it's all about the training as well. And it's fair to say, Posty, since you've been coming in the studio with me, you genuinely must have learnt loads.
Oh, I mean, exactly, I have, 100%. As in, learn new things
Shame
every
it
time I
didn't
come
teach
on.
you to punch better yesterday, of course. With your punting, of course.
Oh, my punting. I think so.
I've said punching.
That's an expression. Never heard that. Where you're punching at the bookmakers. All right.
Oh, right.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Now, of course, you've only been doing this for a couple of years. When did you actually retire?
Just over 2 years ago, yeah.
Was that right? I mean, it feels like a lot longer than that to me, I have to say.
2 years. I should have retired 4 years ago.
4?
You've still got a bit of life left in you, like I say, but how you need to ride more than one winner, I think, in Jersey. Don't need to keep that one going. Was anyone out there in Jersey? Let us know if you saw that winner, of course, for Neil Mulholland, one of the great trainers.
Did you win the title this year or not?
Touch and
no,
go,
bro,
though.
come
Touch
on.
and go.
Yeah.
Who did win the title over there? Jockey title?
Well, last year,
No, this year.
it's only just started.
Oh, right. I see. So you're going back out there? Oh,
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
it was a big festival or something
No,
like that.
no, there's another
That's just the
6
start of the
meetings.
Is that right? Oh, this is a cash cow.
Oh,
isn't it? This is
yes,
no
yes.
wonder you were on your regime then.
Milk the cow, Dave.
You're good at that, aren't you? Absolutely. Now, you said that you had a couple of rides in the jump jockeys race. Remind me when that, slightly later on this season, I think.
It's normally the last meeting of the season, I think.
We saw the jumpers Nunthorpe, didn't we, on Saturday? Did you watch that?
Scoo rode it.
Scoo rode it, yeah, that was a big race double, wasn't it? To have
They,
O'Mara.
O'Mara, yeah.
Market raising the Saturday before we rode.
Midgley had about 8 in it. Wasn't he? He was trying to.
I backed the one with Dave England on it, and James Millman was in. He went, I don't think he'd be the most aerodynamic jockey out there. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm going in it. I know, that's what he said. Posty's eyes like that. Fair to say, I think that the Horsey Road is probably still running, I think, probably. But,
I used to love it every year when Tinks was riding because him and
Andrew
his
Tinkler,
uncle,
yeah.
they'd think that they were gonna set one up for that.
Oh,
jockey.
yeah.
I don't think they ever won it.
where is Tinks at the moment? He's at Haggis's, isn't he?
Yeah, he rides Mohayev every day.
What was his thoughts after Saturday? Have you
No,
spoken
I
to
actually
him?
haven't spoke to him, but yeah, well,
Still sobbing, is he?
I'd imagine so. Yeah.
But since he went into Mr. Haggis's, can we say this? Can we go down this road? He's got a bit more of a edge about him, hasn't he, Tinks? He's got the wash bag under him. He's got the hair
look,
done.
he's pitching up there. I mean,
This is a job that suits him, is
he'd
what
be
I'm
best
saying.
turned out every day. Don't you worry about it.
Would he? Yes, I bet he would. Andrew Tinkler.
He'd love that, wouldn't he, Haggis?
Yeah.
Did the first ever Racing Post live.
Tinks?
Yeah, last
Did he?
week when we did Cheltenham, yeah. Not been back since.
Well, do you know what? Yeah, do you know why he ain't been back? There's no makeup there for him.
Probably, exactly, because he can't come in with a wash bag. No, but he's obviously since got the job at Haggis, isn't
Yeah.
to ride Mahafeth. That's I bet he loves that. He's got a WhatsApp and all that sort of thing, is he? This is flying, lads. Well, listen, he sort of hung it away a little bit, didn't he? And a lot of people thought he ran a big race in defeat, but a lot of people just looking at a short price favourite beating and thinking this is.
He refused to win, didn't he?
Well,
Yeah,
I backed
yeah.
him there, but I thought he refused.
I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was that like of a performance.
Oh, what did you make of Mahafeth? Is this another Al-Azi, who of course is now another £2 lighter, isn't he? I mean, the coolest cut of all, but could that be the making? And there's the spotlight verdict. Chris Timms comes and says, interesting, Chris, bringing it back to the oak tree. Onassis is the best bet of the day for me. Hopefully Haley can come fast and late down the outside. Yeah, anything Holly can do, Haley can do as well. This is a horse that she gets on extremely well with and ran very well for a long way on its return at Royal Ascot. Obviously, a track it likes. It then went to 6 furlongs, didn't it, at York, and it just found it a little bit sharp behind VA Dream, or VAR Dream, we're going to say it, from stall 13.
Ground's going to suit.
The first thing to say about this race, it used to be run on the Friday. Now, on the Friday, they take the false rail away, and that's why that Golden Mile handicap, you've got to be low. You've got to be low. This is the first time it's been run on the second day, and therefore the draw shouldn't be as bad to be wide as possible. Shall we go through our tips? Because I've got one in stall 10. Bounce the Blues to make it 4th time lucky for the Balding team.
With Barry, I've gone Isabella. Giles, just, like the form of the course last year.
I mean, I was just about to give my race.
Yes, but I thought I'd get in there first, Dave.
We've heard enough.
Let's just get on with it.
We've heard enough, Dave.
He's getting a bit too relaxed, isn't he?
I've never known anyone like the sound of their own voice more than me.
He probably would be quite good. Okay, listen, what does Lee Hellinger say? He says, what do you guys think of Bounce the Blues in this race?
Dave
Well, I was about
about to
to
get
tell
on
you.
to
I was about to tell you. Look, Oisin Murphy, what was he, 3rd in the last race? Ross Briney, who's a great friend of the show, and you'll be seeing him all the week, he said to me, I'm not sure about the jockey on alcohol-free at the meeting. I'm not throwing Ross under the bus like that. Oisin's stats... Bizarre. You think I am? Oisin stats bizarrely at this meeting are not as spellbinding as they are elsewhere. Don't know why.
Yeah.
They just aren't. Last year he had a bit of a stinker for whatever reason. Listen, can't keep a good.
And would that be something you'd really factor in?
Personally, no. He's the champion jockey.
Yeah.
If you speak to people who he rides for, James Millman in particular yesterday, serious praise.
I think people can get lost in that too much. It's a lot of it is depending the horse acting round Goodwood, luck in running. Yeah, I don't. Just because he had a bad year last year, I'm not a great believer in that.
Yeah.
As you say, he's champion jockey for a reason.
Absolutely. And everything just looks right. If ever a horse had the right test, I think this is it. It's an even split as well between the 3-year-olds and older fillies in this race. 5 apiece in the last decade. Barry thinks it'll be the 3-year-olds. I have to say, though, with This Is Better Giles, moving it back to your tip very nicely there. You're doubling up with Barry. When she won as a 2-year-old here on bad ground last year, that's why she was favourite for the Rockvale and then, expected to run very well at Group 1 level. I have to say, this looks like, it's almost last chance saloon.
Yeah.
And without putting you off, and Barry as well, this is a Graham Rodway project. He has been saying on this show, and part of the hoodoo was, and I said, has it trained on? Has it trained on? He thinks, again, this is the day that we're going to find out. Paul Keeley, I think, another project kills as well. So a lot riding on this Isabella Giles, including Batch's weight.
I think today's the day for her. It's, as you say, everything's in her favour, the ground, so...
Hector Crouch, fine?
Yeah, I think he's a great rider. Yeah. See him ride his first win at Royal Ascot this year.
Of course, yes, but you know a bit about him, wouldn't you?
Yeah, from Gary Moore's school, and he's just a good lad, committed, gets a lot of nice rides for Clive Cox as well now, and let's say the winner at Royal Ascot for Abdullah, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, and no penalty this time as well, so that could be something to factor in. She's drawn in 12, but as we said, we don't think that the draw's going to be as bad as it usually can be historically in this race. If you're looking and thinking, hang on, lots of low draws there, maybe it'll be turned on its head this time. Posty, the tip.
I'm going with Onassis as well for me.
Onassis.
Onassis, yeah.
Onassis. Onassis is the rich family, isn't it? Or Aristotle Onassis, isn't it? Jackie Onassis, it's got to be Onassis, isn't it? Surely.
That's how it got its name.
Yeah.
That's how it's got its name, because it's out of a mare called Jacqueline. And Jacqueline Onassis, Jackie O. Jackie Onassis.
There we go.
What's the meaning of
she married
Posty's
JFK,
one?
and when JFK died,
JFK?
she married,
Yeah. Aristotle
married
Onassis,
Onassis, the
richest
Greek
man.
shipping magnate.
Yes, absolutely.
Jacqueline's Quest was the horse who got disqualified from the Guineas, wasn't it?
Deflected that beautifully. from
Oh,
your
he got that back, didn't he?
Absolutely, showing your worth.
Awesome.
Your worth on this
Showing your
program.
knowledge, Posty.
Yeah,
and
exactly,
your
yeah.
racing knowledge. That's what you're here for, thank God.
Brilliant.
Not to get the pronunciations right.
Yeah, exactly. I leave
Never mind what he was thinking of Onassis. Let's not even go there. Moving on. I think he's still at Goodwood,
I
isn't
mean,
he?
you're talking about jumping in on Batchy, or Batchy jumping on you. I haven't been able to get a word in edgeways yet.
I've been looking forward to today for this reason. There's loads of you out there as well. I was chatting to a couple of mates last night and they said, we enjoy watching a bit of the show. He's like, who have you got on? And I said, obviously Barry's back with me and we're going to have to handle Batch and Posty. And then I love it when the two jump jockeys are in together.
But just quickly,
But just quickly moving on. So Charlie Fellows has also got obviously VA Dream.
Yes.
How are we going to pronounce this horse? Come on, we've got an Asses, right? Is it VAR Dream or VA Dream? VAR Dream, we're calling it that.
Oh, dream.
Yeah, it's a terrible name actually, isn't
Or
it?
Vadream.
not good.
The Dream. I don't know. It's one. I think names of horses in particular, punters should be able to pronounce them easily. Let's not even go down that road. But she was a big eye catcher, VAR Dream, wasn't she, at Royal Ascot? I would suggest for different reasons. Onassis was as well. Keith Melrose liked her that day.
Yeah.
I remember the betting editor Racing Post and said, look out for her when she's got an easy 7 again. So Charlie Fellows holds a strong hand there, right?
Yeah, easy 7, easy surface as well. And again, it is a track where course form is no bad thing either. So, yeah, they were my feelings about it. But like you say, Charlie Fellows does hold a strong hand, full stop in this race.
You've come across Charlie Fellows? Is he a chap that you've come across? He's really interesting bloke.
Yeah, I have, yeah. He was a bit worse for wear when I come across him. I couldn't really understand why.
You never know with Batches.
I couldn't understand.
When you say he was worse for wear,
Right, I didn't understand a word he was saying.
That's just because he's very posh, isn't
Is
it?
that when he named Onassis and VAR Dream? He probably meant something completely different, didn't he?
Yeah. Where was it? It was what's the pub in Lambourne at the top as you get off the M4?
the Pheasant.
The Pheasant, yeah.
Not that I've been there.
No.
In the last 24 hours.
Sitting slumped in a chair and...
He's a great character,
No,
Charlie.
nice, yeah.
He is almost like an interviewer's dream because he just gives. He's one of the new breed of trainers, if you'd like. He's been around quite a bit, hasn't he? But one of the new breed of trainers that knows how to give, and knows how to play the media game. Hopefully working with him again soon. He was fantastic. And Prince of Arran, of course, has taken him all over the place. He was very vocal, wasn't he, about the Melbourne Cup, of course. Oh, God. That's going to rear its head soon, isn't it, that Melbourne Cup chat?
Was there not something the other day about the carnival already? There's been hardly any horses nominated.
No entries.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entries.
No entries.
I think August the 3rd is the cut-off, is the final time. So it wouldn't surprise, because Aidan O'Brien, if you remember, he was being interviewed during the latest Royal Ascot, and basically he came out with some of the technical jargon of what actually needs to happen. It sounded a bit harrowing.
About all the veterinary checks and all that.
Having to be injected with ink.
Ridiculous.
Oh my God, scanners and all that sort of. Why on earth, with a potential stallion, which years they've, favoured Australia with, really going down there. But for horses like Prince of Arran, imagine if it was Red Cadeau, very similar.
Yeah.
He's a legend down there, Prince of Arran, isn't he? Charlie must have been absolutely. He couldn't go obviously last year, and it is a trip of a lifetime if you've ever been there.
For an older horse as well, I mean, not from a welfare, but just like an older athlete, there's going to be it must be a big gamble now. One, getting them through the checks before you go, and then all the checks that you have to get. You have
set up to fail, really, aren't you? That's how it seems.
They're set up for one reason alone, aren't they? To try and keep Europeans
Keep you
out.
away, yeah. That's it.
Yeah, some of the people that they put onto the task force, if you like, to set up the new roles. Yeah, people like Peter Moody, who didn't have the greatest travelling experience down here,
No.
So exactly, Lee Friedman and all that sort of thing. They're proper Aussies, let's put it that way. Okay, Zach Jones joins the party and said, last Empire's one-length defeat to Light Refrain, conceding £15, reads well in this context. If she can stay 7 furlongs, she's a cracking each way. Last Empire for Kevin Ryan, who says in the paper this morning, a good filly, but a very good filly when getting testing ground. The Ryan team. How did they get on yesterday? They're in good form. I know that very much. Juan Elcano ran well, didn't it? They had okay. No, it's been a little bit quiet, actually. This is traditionally quieter week. Are we going to see Glass Slippers? Is she entered on Friday? I haven't even had a chance to look. It's been a busy morning here at the Racing Post. Last year, you remember, of course, Glass Slippers. We were hoping to see her so far. It's in the Qatar Stakes. I'm getting it up now. Batage, is she in there?
No.
No, she's not. Oh, yes, she is. She's Jock, Barry. She is. She's in stall 5. Yes, we're finally going to get to see Slippers back. And Batage, we were saying yesterday, Barry, weren't we? Spoke to Charlie Hills last week. All well with the great horse. Looks like the ground's drying. I'm amazed he's still odds against for Friday.
Yeah, he's easy enough to back at the moment. Odds against 6-5 the last time I looked. So I don't know. It's a good race, isn't it? But if the ground does dry out enough, I can see him going odds on.
He is he's the record holder at Goodwood, isn't he? It is the perfect track. And Charlie, Barry, go on.
He didn't run bad. He didn't run bad in the King's Stand.
No.
It was just a pace collapse, wasn't it? They just absolutely blew the brains out of each other up front. But and for him to go and do that in Goodwood is, I'd see him home, I'm sure, on good ground.
To coin your
He
phrase.
would have been given the ground. He wouldn't be massively inconvenienced.
Absolutely.
I think it's more the track for him, and as you said, that track suits him.
It's 4 seconds
to
difference, Charlie Hill's reason with us, last week between the two tracks. And he absolutely, and Paul Keeley, we were chatting with him and Charlie as well. You might have seen the feature show, and he said he was absolutely the one to take out the King's Stand. But it's horses like Art Power, Old Rival Art Power, Dragon Symbol in particular, a bit of an unknown quantity for him, isn't it? So, and let's face it, if any horse deserves a Group 1,
Sure.
isn't it? But again, I thought this would be a banker of the week. Did you out there as well? But Glass Slippers, great to see her back. She'll be going back to the Breeders' Cup, we hope, won't we? What a marvellous day that was when she took out the turf sprint over there.
Tom Eves as
Tom
well.
Eves.
Tom Eves, yeah.
Started riding over jumps and bumpers and that, didn't he? I mean, for
Great lads.
Ryan has the odd bumper horse and jumper, doesn't he, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, now and then.
I think he was at Mary Reevely's Tom Eves. Is that not what he
Mary
started?
Reevely, yeah.
Wow, right. Mary Reevely, there's a name. So look, that's the highlight on Friday. It is the Qatar Stakes, of course. I haven't seen the Golden Mile, Barry, and races like that. They are going down for the Oak Tree. Should we have a little word about Galway later, Barry? It really starts warming up now. Now the racing 6:15. The Galway Plate then looks an absolute minefield, man.
Yeah, JP's a stack of horses in it, and there's purchased. The Shunter is the one that they want to be with, 11-2 favourite for Emmett Mullins. Kashari for Willie, who's got several in it, as well as 13-2, along with another Willie Mullins runner, Royal Rendezvous. Top Moon for Joseph O'Brien seems to be well fancied. He's 8-1. He's another JP runner. Outside of that, there's no real money for any of the outsiders just at the moment. Battle over Diane, the Sneezy Foster horse, a few quid for that 16 from 20. And all Sam Crow's in there as well at 25 to 1. Sure to have his supporters with Jordan Gamesford in the plate. And, you know, he's got a touch class, the horse. Whether he's up to winning a Galway plate carrying top weight, that remains to be seen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, goodness gracious me. And his height. Would you ever seen him running in a race like this? But it's great to see them, isn't it, rolling the dice in this handicap company. If you looked at that race, it's just favourites all over the place, isn't it?
Yeah, there's some real characters in it, isn't it? I mean, we were sort of briefly talking. Emmett Mullins did a bit in the paper this week.
Great read, wasn't it?
It was really interesting read, actually. Yeah.
Tom, Dick, and Harry, he called them, didn't he?
Yeah,
even the riders don't know what they're riding. That's the way to keep it under the radar.
But not a gambling yard.
Yeah, they don't know what they're riding, but it's not a gambling.
Is that why haggis horses are always such a short price? Because Tinks gets on the phone immediately afterwards. Maybe Mr. Haggis should be reading, this piece and calling him Tom, Dick and Harry.
Yeah.
If you confuse Tinks, then maybe we might get some prices about these haggis horses. I'll tell you what, lads, this has absolutely flown up the gas. He's the one that puts the market pressure on. Oh, there we go.
It would be hard to get Tinks off the... You just tell him his boots are dirty or he looks... Oh, I need polishing.
Oh, he's a right character, is Tink, so we wish him all the very best. All right, then, let's bring it back to this then. The Oak Tree Stakes, like I say, usually run on the Friday. Let us know your long-range picks for the week, or indeed for the rest of the season. What did you make of the King George? What did you make of Love? Where does she go now? So many talking points. Should we just briefly talk about the King George? Get a word from it? Great to see a Derby winner, wasn't it? Follow up.
Yeah, and Love, I just think it was... She wants softer ground.
Do you think she bounced a little bit? That was my... She had a hard race in hindsight, wonderful thing. At Ascot, she had to give everything at Ascot.
I mean, the only thing I would say is, I suppose if you go through last year's performances, did she beat anything
of real
merit? And then
top-notcher.
The Prince of Wales as well, the filly of Fanshaw's that she beat.
Well, that's still to come out, isn't it? That would be fancy for the Nassau, of course.
But again,
Armory was beaten, wasn't he?
Would you fancy... Is she Audaria? Would you fancy her in a proper stellar Group 1?
His Cup went on. We were still to find out.
Yeah.
I think Armory was beaten on Saturday, wasn't he? Was it third or fourth in the race? He was fourth in the end, wasn't he? But the York run, it all went wrong for him at York, I think. So I felt the jury's out.
I just think from Love's point of view is in...
Fair comment, I think.
She might have bounced because they said that she was undercooked and she ended up having a hard race.
She did, and that's why everyone thought she might be vulnerable.
It could just possibly be that's as
good as she is.
As in a day...
Mishriff is a worldie, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a Group 1 winner in a couple of different countries, and he's a proper Group 1 horse. And the Derby winner sort of flown under the radar because of the way Charlie Appleby talked about him, as he thought he was going to go for the Queen's Vase or something, and a Ledger. But he won a Derby. He was £10 better again in the King George on the face of it. And he could just be one of those that's not a late bloomer, but maybe just flew under the radar, but potentially could just be very, very good.
Yeah. So there we are. We think, listen, all to find out. Dan was in my... there we are. That's why. Mark Smith comes on. Going to the Sussex now, Mark. Love it. With Tilsit. Charlie Hills was very happy to think this guy was going in under the radar. The Summer Mile winner, Mahatho, of course, who won this race last year, had taken that exact preparation. His second in France has been franked. Everything winning next time in group races. Tilsit. Kieran Schumacher, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, he's a definite chance, hasn't he? As in... he's a solid older horse and a solid group performer. He last time out winner. If you're thinking that the 3-year-olds, like Poetic Flower of the Ground, and maybe that the fillies who are going to handle the ground, but if they're not, as in we're going to see them against older horses now, aren't we? And if they're not quite up to it, he could be one that might be one that's able to take advantage. You think?
Yeah, it's an exciting time of year, though, isn't
it,
for these 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds now. And it's usually glorious good, but I remember Henry Cecil always used to say, wait until after the King George until you start going for the 3-year-olds.
My feeling is he'll probably run well without winning, if I'm honest.
Okay, there we go.
Would the ground be a key? Would the ground be a worry for him, or...?
I think he has one on slow ground around Haydock or somewhere.
He has run at Goodwood before. He ran... Was it last year he ran in the... Did he win at the course last year? I can't remember. It was in the...
He won on Good to Firm. Good to Firm last year,
That was. I remember that. Did Ben Curtis ride him from memory?
Ryan Moore.
Okay.
Ben Curtis rode him at Newmarket.
Okay. All right. Somewhere up there. So Tilsit. Yeah, listen, maybe it is that sort of race. I can understand that, Mark. You want to look for something solid each way. Talking about something solid, somehow I've got one over the line finally, Barry, on. I'm hoping to make it 2 from 2 with Bounce the Blues. She's now going to go off clear, Fav, is she?
Yeah, 5.1 on the exchange. Vadream is 5.7. It's 6 Highfield Princess, so good money for that as well. And that's is 10.5. 9.4 Isabella Giles now, so that's come in for a little bit of support as well, Isabella Giles.
Okay, yeah, all right then. So we're all being forgiving this year. It's a year to be forgiving, of course, isn't it? After everything that's gone on. Highfield Princess. We've not mentioned her yet. In 17 under Jason, as Graham Rodway likes to say, Hitman Heart. For John Quinn, of course, who was off the mark yesterday after a couple of disappointments. Safe Voyage didn't run any sort of race whatsoever, did he? She absolutely blew them away in the Buckingham Palace. She had the stands rail, but Dania, as we saw on Saturday, took out the big handicap, the Moe and Shonda.
And yeah, and she backed it up by going and winning a listed race on the all-weather next time, didn't you? She's another progressive filly by Night of Thunder as well, who's sort of carrying all before him as a sire.
They like a bit of juice, yeah.
They definitely go with cutting the ground. So, yeah, another one that is very much in the mix. The other one I wanted to chuck at you, if we're on about horses like Isabella Giles on the comeback, Dan Duller.
Oh, man. Yeah, just at the moment, just looks like a 2-year-old and struggling to, maybe the others have caught up. Is that one of these cliche sayings that we can say about her? He's got a very fancied horse in the 410, hasn't he, Carl Burke? Illuminating.
Yes.
Illuminating.
Ran well in the Queen Mary.
Did. I fancy her, but I put her up. I didn't expect it to be Clear Fav in that, I must say. But Dan Dalla, yeah, got the draw. Clifford Lee, he's impressed me, certainly.
Yeah, very good rider.
Very good rider, good young lad, yeah.
I think we're seeing there's a number of younger riders that are sort of tapping away now, like looking to break through at this sort of level.
How's the coaching going? We should bring it back. They're just starting to go in the post. How's the tutoring?
Yeah, as in one of the lads, Lewis Stones, rode a winner last night. Hooroo for Ollie Murphy. Fergus Gregory, I think, is a very good rider.
Great.
Charlie Todd, who's with Ian Williams,
that's the one that I associate with him.
Yeah.
Dragon Bones, of course. That was Barry's huge winner. Do you remember that? 6-6.
I don't think Charlie had one of his best days on Dragon Bones.
Oh, Southwell. It was terrible, wasn't it? I was so impressed with the fact he bounced straight up after and gave the interview after.
Yeah, he was good, wasn't it? But again, this is going back to the younger generation coming through and being
some say that they're made of sterner things. I don't know. Barry?
Are Lewis Stones and Fergus Gregory both with Ollie Murphy?
Yes, Barry, yeah, they're both there, yeah. And he's given them plenty of chances, so be interested if Lewis kicks on a bit this year. His £7 claim, I think he's good value for that.
Betfair Ambassador, I'd love to get Murph in this studio one day with you guys next year. The jump season, he's a right character as Murph Barry, isn't he? Oh, they're off and running.
Yeah,
okay. Sorry, Barry, I didn't even see that. It caught me on the hop. Apologies. We are off and running. And Highfield Princess, we saw what she did at Royal Ascot. She's attempting to do it again under the Hitman Heart. She's a bit keen up front. Last Empire as well. We saw some love for the viewers about that as well. Isabella Giles, no excuses today. She's right up there, going to get a clear look. Dan Dalla, what will we see from her today? Murrah Moore for Rafe Beckett, one of two in the race for him, right up there as well. Bounce the Blues, settle in midfield a little bit. Keen, Agincourt out the back, Juska out the back as well. Onassis out the back. Who are we looking at? Who's catching your eye? Poste.
Dan Dalla is very, very keen, in all fairness, as in I think it's sort of Clifford Lee's about to, Dan Dalla could be taken over in a minute, as in ran very, very free with the choke out. Onassis for me is locked up down the inside. We're going to need a bit of luck and running from here, Dave.
Yeah, Hayley Turner and Jamie Spencer. Typically, Spencer, look, he's trying to get out Batch, isn't he? 3 furlongs to run.
Yeah, but I like my horse, Isabella Giles. Kirby up the front, where you want to see him.
Yep, she's on the bridle, Barry. Who's gone low?
3.5 Highfield Princess. They have to get past her yet. 5.5 A Dream. Isabella Giles is gone.
Look, yeah, Isabella Giles falling
Last
in a hole.
Empire, 3.7.
Oh, come on for the Ryan team. Agincourt on the outside. Bounce the Blues, just got outpaced. Here comes Onassis. Hayley Turner, can she get there? At the moment, it's Last Empire on the inside. Kevin Ryan told us she's a good filly, but a very good filly when she gets cut. Is she just going to hold on? Last Empire gets there, up there throughout. Poste only second on Onassis, not on Assis. And Highfield Princess, another barnstormer of a run in third. Immediate reactions. That was a race where you couldn't really come from too far off the pace. Only Onassis managed to land a blow. Barry Orr, you gave us a run about 2 furlongs out. I threw it to you. Isabella Giles just looks like one of them now.
Yeah, she does. She's just not getting home, is she? She ran on to finish her. She finished 5th, finally. Onassis in running, though, Dave, after meeting all sorts of trouble, hit a low of even money. Your winner had a Betfair SP of 20.9. There's no real massive in-running news in the race. Highfield Princess ran a really, really respectable race, considering the ground could have been gone for her. She hit a low of 2.2 for 149 quid. She, for me, is the one to take out of the race. She's a really game filly.
Oh, I think there was a couple of monkeys in behind that VAR Dream now. How many more chances are we going to give her? I don't think the track looked up, but it's excuse. Bounce the Blues. I was a bit disappointed with that. Looked stuck between 7 furlongs and a mile. I'll tell you what, Elizabeth Giles is coming back at the finish into 5th. Oh, please tell me.
Probably one of those.
It's one of these annoying projects, isn't it, where you can just get a glimmer again. I've been talking about that recently on the show. OK, let's concentrate on the winner. Danny Tudhope gets his winner on the board. Clipper Logistics, as I say, they'll be fancying the double now, these connections. And congratulations to Zach Jones out there, who, of course, mailed in to say, this is the winner of the race. Last Empire. What price did you get, Zach? Let us know. I'll tell you what, she was pretty keen, guys. Just look where 3 of the first 5 are at the moment, though. Right up in the van, Poste.
Yeah, prominent position, vital in this race, wasn't it? As in Jason Hart got out, got a good posse. Like you say, Danny Tudhope following on. I mean, Hector Crouch, in the perfect slot as well, if Isabella Giles is good enough. I mean, as Batch said, sort of got up outpace and then was staying on again. Dan Dalla looks like she hasn't trained on, way too keen through this as well. And Onassis has ran a blinder, to be honest.
Isn't it? Yeah.
As in, I think possibly a slightly stronger gallop to aim at would have aided her chances. But, Hayley Turner's given a lovely ride, got out at the right moment, and we just ran out of runway, really. We could have done with 150 yards.
Yeah, she has run a belter, and Charlie Fellows will have mixed feelings from that race because VAR Dream probably was the fancy one, wasn't it? Spencer tried to get out. He didn't get the run back, did he? He's had to go on the inside, but not totally sure. Is she going to be one of these red herring horses that makes you tear your hair out in running?
Yeah, I think so. If you're switching to try and get a run down the inner, it's like last chance saloon if you're going to try and go down there. Isabella Giles just gets a little bit crowded, sort of sticks her head up a bit and then gets a bit of a gap, and as you say, just runs on again. I think she's one of those, Dave. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how long they persevere with her. She's obviously a group-winning filly, isn't she? Did they keep her on as a 3-year-old? Let us know. Did you keep the project up like Barry and G-Rod and Batch in there? OK. I feel Princess.
I'd pop her over a few poles, Dave. Maybe.
Posty's thinking, well, the Rooneys don't have jumpers anymore. Maybe I've got another graduate coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Stick around and point to point in Kingston Blunt.
We actually had one just win at Perth there, breaking the ice. That was one of ours. Low grade horse, but won its last 2 now. So.
This afternoon?
Yeah.
I kept that quiet, doesn't he? His fingers in pies, this Posty, I tell you. Well, I actually get a word from Posty because it's starting to warm up a little bit, Posty, isn't it, the jumpers? But we will come back to that. Highfield Princess, Barry, she has run an absolute stormer, hasn't she, that one? You said it.
She truly has, yeah. And I think the ground had to have been a concern for her as well. But she did get the run of the race on the front end, which is... not many came from off the pace. Sure, they didn't. But she has run a good race. She's a game filly. I like her. One that I would flag up, ran on to finish 6th, Jusaka for Henry Candy. Rob Hornby had no sort of run, had to pull widest of all as well and ran on. Past tired horses probably, but be interesting to see how that race works out.
Yeah, she was an absolute forgive run at Pontefract last time, and there's a little bit of collateral form going on later in the week for her. Again, this is the meeting, guys, isn't it, where your members section and your replays are of real importance. A reminder for you out there, if you want to become a member this week at the Racing Post, it's absolutely essential. We know it's quite expensive for you out there, so we're giving you 20% off. Let me remind myself exactly what that offer is. Just bear with me. Con, who will be watching this right now, will be thinking, come on, man, get it right, from our social team. Let me have a little look. It is Good Year, of course, all capitals, one word, Good Year. So that offer expires on the 1st of August. So you've got until then to join and get 20% off. You get absolutely everything with that. Replays, essential Racing Post ratings, the handicappers, Paul Keeley's tips, Tom Segal. Even get to read a little bit of my analysis.
It is well worthwhile, isn't it?
Yeah. Have we sorted you out for that? Have you?
Well, I've actually ended up having to put my hand in my pocket. I waited that long for what I hope might be a little complimentary one. But in the end, I was like, do you know what? Could be waiting forever for this. So
we will have a word, Posty. Absolutely. If only someone could have told them that you are actually retired. So we are 2 races down. Then we have got the Molecombe to come next. There's the Betfair SP. What was it for you, Zach Jones and the Last Empire fans out there? I'll tell you what, the Ryan team know how to celebrate. Clipper Logistics, they'll be absolutely buzzing now for Glass Slippers and their horse later on. The Clipper a lot about that. But yeah, 20-1. There you go. 16's on track. It's where the value lies. There is your SPs there, you can see 16-1, 15-2 and 9-2 Highfield Princess. Funny old race that, wasn't it? As we do see 7 furlongs around Goodwood. Bit of a minefield. Right, who's on a hat-trick then? Let us know out there. Who's who, what's what. OK, all right. So, This time of year, Posty, before we move on to the next race, you can see the market coming up for 3 o'clock then. I always get asked to do lots of dark horses sort of jumps. And I think, oh, come on, it's July and August. But this is the time when we have to start going into the print and stuff. Babies coming back in, young sorts?
Yeah, broken in a lot of horses over the summer. Well, the spring and summer from the.
How was last week with the heat, man, and all that sort of thing? It must have been intense.
Yeah, it's tough for the horses. Like, I mean, we're actually very lucky where we are. We've got this sort of tree line, railway line, the old railway line that gives a bit of shelter from the heat. We try and get out earlier and get things done. So.
You ever been down to the yard, Batch?
No, not been down there.
Station yard, isn't it? It's called.
Yeah.
Pop down there, Poste.
It's actually just new website just been launched.
Plug, there you are. We're coming back, you see. We haven't given you the freebie with the members section.
StationYardRacing.com.
Yeah, station. Is that what it is? Yeah, well, you'll see great media from you all the time. Yeah. What I love is when you show the schooling and they're coming down. It's a great shot that you've got and you're going at what I assume are the old railway tracks or whatever.
Yeah, well, like I say, it's a set aside 400 yards schooling strip we've got down there with, logs and barrels and lorry tyres and fences. And
when does the pointing season start again?
It starts October the 30th.
It's quite early, isn't it?
Yeah, we need to get Rob to Kingston Blount, don't we?
That's what we're going to do. That's the local one. Well, it was difficult to do, wasn't it? I've not had an invite down, but now
we should go down there. We should both go down there.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I'll take you both out for lunch.
So the schooling. So do they?
Schooling.
Yeah. So they get bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Is there an escape route?
There is an escape route.
If I could go over the logs.
Yeah, we could do a feature. You could come and ride out one of those youngsters, and that Dave Orton maybe not so much. He could do the bit of interviewing and
I'll be behind the camera maybe on that one.
Yeah,
rather than in front.
But yeah, I mean, and what we've seen is the prices for buying horses has been through the roof.
Has it really?
Ease ups on the flat, jumping store.
So it was a big worry, wasn't it? Of course, with the past year that we've had.
People are out there desperate to spend some money, it seems, and haven't been able to go on holiday, and there's a lot of disposable income and prices, averages, everything's been up on previous years. So
the future is bright.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, okay, so maybe not that freebie coming your way just yet. Okay, so a reminder for you. Listen, it's the ultimate package, isn't it? It's the ultimate package for the year at the Racing Post, and it's Goodyear is your offer if you want to join. I don't know how you could do without all the Racing Post ratings and the spotlights and the race replays. So important this week. All right, there you go then. It's the Molecombe coming up. Race 3, already on to race 3. They say time flies when you're having fun. Should we go to Barry and see what the tip is in this? Barry, are you with the Fav or are you taking him on? He looks short to me.
Yeah, I'm going to take him on, Dave, at the price. I know he won that race in Sandown last day, and he's won a 5 lengths, but I think there's a couple of nice types in here, and I don't think that race in Sandown is going to work out at all. I know Mojo Maker and Caboo reopposing, but I thought he was a little bit flattered by the 5 lengths. And there's horses in here that are no mugs either. Chipotle, obviously a Royal Ascot winner. Nothing went right for it in the Super Sprint in Newbury on his last run. I'd give him another chance. I thought Nymphadora, the only filly in the field, she had a chance if you leave out her last run when the ground was probably way too lively for her in Royal Ascot. And I thought a horse called Chimgan for Clive Cox and Adam Kirby had a big chance. That one in Nottingham, won a novice, was drawn 10 of 10 that day. Didn't get the rail, ran very green, hit a high in running, I think of around 100. It really traded big in running. So I thought that had a bit of a chance. And the money's been for a more. Richard Hannon's horse, that's into 6-1, having been 10-1 this morning as well now. So what we're going to do, very simple here, please, Posty, 276. We're going to take, if you click on the pink box, we're going to take 50 quid out of it, 50 quid of the backer stake to lose about 90 quid. So we've the field winning us 50 and the favourite loses 90.
There you are then. Okay, yeah, you mentioned also like Chingman, the once race maiden winners. Remember Still Bull winning this last year, scything through the pack. He'd had just the one run as well. I must admit, I found this one of the trickier races of the day. And when doing so, it often pays to keep it simple. So I'll have a small bit on Armour. I don't think we saw absolutely the best of behind Chipotle at Royal Ascot in the Windsor Castle. Ryan Moore takes the ride. Stall 11. Slightly concerned about the stall, actually. That's right on the stand side, of course. I would have preferred it if he was a little bit lower, but Richard Hannon was a bit bullish. Thinks he'll prefer this ground, the faster ground. He will do for me. Armour, I'm hoping, will prove the toughest in the Molecombe. Charlie Poste.
I've gone, again, I struggled to really find an angle or to be sort of overly confident about the shorter price ones. So I've gone for an each way play, Sways of Martin Meads. Won last time out at York. I think he's a guy to be respected. I think 80% run to form at the moment. I think there was a bit, again, I read in the members section, that I think Martin Meads had 13 runners, 2-year-old runners in British or Irish group or listed races, and the 11 have been in the first 3. And so I thought if he's taking a punt, stepping this horse up so quickly in grade, then at 20-1, that was my sort of each way play. And Showcasing had a 2-year-old winner yesterday.
Showcasing the sire. I always associate them with a little bit of dig underfoot as well.
I think so. Yeah, exactly. So I don't think the ground is a major cause for concern at this stage. I mean, it's difficult probably saying about 2-year-olds 100% that the ground is a worry, isn't it? Because we just don't know.
Yeah, it's a small sample size, isn't it? Basically, he's still waiting for his first win.
Named after the great Patrick Swayze.
There you are. Oh yes, indeed, absolutely. Hoping to dance the great dance then. Batch.
I'm going to stick with the favourite. I think rookie trainer Edward Bethel, PJ McDonald.
Done well since taking over from the dad, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he's proving he can do the job.
It's important that first year, I guess, isn't it,
Hugely,
guys?
yeah. A good 2-year-old.
We've seen a few of them doing it, of course, haven't we? Eustace as well. Harry Eustace made a bit of an impact as well.
Just going to chuck out there, Sandown to Goodwood.
Very different test.
Very different.
Yes.
Very different, yeah. I'm just looking at the others. I mean, Chip, I'm worried about the ground. I would give Nymphadora a little chance. Ascot, I think the ground may be a little bit too firm for her. She might prefer this little bit of easing ground at a 9-1, I think, each way. But yeah, I was trying to look to something to take on the favourite, but I'm going to stick with the favourite.
Yeah, Fearby, of course.
Yeah.
He won the National Stakes. Chipotle was behind him in that. Chipotle's been a big drifter, I think, Barry, hasn't he? Opened up about 4-1 on the show because, as you say, nearly knocked over in the Super Sprint. That was a line-through run, but Eve Johnson-Housen, we know, thinks he's better on top of the ground.
Yeah, 5-2 it was when we first went up with this race on the sports book, and it's been backed at a low of 3-1 on the exchange, but it's out to 9 now on the exchange. So an 8-1 chance now. Your favourite's getting stronger all the time. 266 now, 7.6 and more. Chipotle 9, 10.5 Nymphadora. But yeah, I don't know. Until you see them run on it, I suppose you don't really know, do you? And how bad is the ground? Like, it seems to be drying all the time. By all accounts, it's getting drier and drier. There's a strong wind on the downs, and it's chalk underground. It seems to drain really well, and all these sort of things here. But he did have a bad run in the National Stakes behind Ebro River on soft ground.
I think the amount of rain that we've had, it would definitely need a day to dry it out fully. So I think tomorrow you'll be seeing...
Well, shall I give you the time of the Oak Tree Stakes? It seems a good time to do so. We are quickening up. We thought, didn't we? We had a mile 2 race on the round course to open us up, which Nagano won, but they crawled in that, and it was something of a dash for home, wasn't it? And the Oak Tree Stakes, okay, maybe again that was a race where you wanted to be handy, but that gives us a bit of reflection. We thought it would. Slow by 5.87 seconds, which basically, boringly, I'm afraid, says exactly what it is on the tin. It's soft, good to soft in places. So once again, Ed Arkle, the clerk of the course.
I think it's only tomorrow you'll see differences, I think.
Yeah, okay. All right, so that was the time. Zach, I believe, is coming back on. Zach Jones is on a high. Okay, I'm on armour in the Malcolm. Oh, I got a little bit of Zach's shine coming on me because I'm the same as well. Much for the same reason as Paul Keeley yesterday. And Hannon's bullishness is, of course, Kills in the Sizzlers goes for that as well. Kills was absolutely buzzing after Trushan yesterday. He was just sitting back in his chair when I went in the office. He's not always, you know. You can tell he said, this is absolute certainty. And they don't often, one of the short ones when he's that, you know, sometimes it just hits the crossbar or something like that, but I think he was taking crazy prices about it. Were you impressed with Trushan yesterday?
Yeah, I think I was.
Did you think without Stradivarius it was a race he had to win?
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did.
It was his to lose.
There's no doubt the way he did
What's
it.
the buzz on track like for him, Poste?
Yeah, I think, like people, there's a lot of love for Holly Doyle as well, isn't there? You know, as in you can see people really getting behind her and like herself and Tom Marquand, they're incredibly likeable as well, aren't they? You know, as in that they're very good for the sport. They're great ambassadors, and people seem to be very, very pleased to see them doing well. And
they claimed on him, didn't they, in the Northumberland Plate? They obviously scratched him from Ascot because they thought the ground. A lot of people said that was a bit hasty. And do you remember Holly Doyle? I said this on the show yesterday. She comes over as a very just kind-hearted, sweet, warm girl. You know what I mean? That might sound a little bit, I don't know. Look. Obviously, she's one of the top jockeys out. I'm sure she's fiercely competitive. But her face, when you saw her walking back in after the decision had been made, I was like, that can't be Ollie, can it? She looked like, get out the way, angry she looked. So for her to get back on and get that Group 1.
That just shows her competitive side. And as you say, she's not... Both her and Tom, they're very reserved, they're very down to earth, and probably people don't... They're nice, and a lot of people say nice girls or women don't, but they get on, they get the job done, and they're very gracious as well, which they sap everything up, they're very appreciative of what they get, and you just see, I just like people like that just getting on.
Something of a new breed, I suppose, aren't they?
I mean, going back to Trushan, do you reckon we're going to see he and Stradivarius face it off because of the ground?
I'd say unlikely.
See Trushan in the champion hurdle, won't we?
Yeah, we should also say about... not a chance. Not if there's anything like the other thing he ran in it, is to go by, what was it called Triptonic, of course. I think Alan's probably got painful memories of switching a decent flat horse to that race. It's just one for the Irish these days, unfortunately, isn't it? Like most of them. Yeah, a quick word on that. Barry, he was 8-1 on the sportsbook immediately after for next year's Gold Cup, wasn't he? Was there any love for that at all?
Geez, Dave, I didn't look, to tell you the truth. I'll have a quick check now, but ground dependent, isn't it? You know, that's the thing about the horse. He is ground dependent. We didn't get to see him, unfortunately, this year in the Gold Cup.
Betting the weather, we said yesterday, really a little bit, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'll let Barry have a look for that. The horse that was second away, he goes. If you go back to Maidan, he was 3 lengths off a Subjectivist or 6 lengths off, or something like that. So look, on his best, that puts Trushan up there, doesn't it? I think he'd stay. Sadly, it doesn't look like Subjectivist. I mean, the vibes we're getting, that might be it for the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
And also, tragically, in the same race, while it's not life-threatening, looks like it's career-ending. Same injury for Sir Ron Priestley, who won on this card 2 years ago. So, what a blow that is for the Johnsons.
Huge
blow, yeah.
I mean, you got the impression when Subjectivist got injured, like Mark Johnson was absolutely gutted, wasn't he?
Yeah, they tried so hard to keep it out of the news, and rumours came out and all that sort of stuff. And we were hearing it was all fine, but we were getting conflicting news and all sorts of stuff. It just shows you what you need to do to get these horses to the races. We've got potentially the best arc we've ever had, but we say that every year, don't we? They've got to get there. Everything's got to be right for them.
Of course, yeah. But like you say, when we chuck in the Derby winner, Snowfall, and all of those sort of horses into the mix, it's very exciting, isn't it? I mean,
Who wins it? I mean, Snowfall's got to be favourite. And she was. What do you make of her Oaks win? I mean, okay, she's beaten fillies if you like, and maybe not the top ones, but the way she's doing it. I love the way he rides her out to the line as well. Do you think that she's surprised them a bit? I know that she had 7 runs last year, and physically she's...
Well, she was one of those, when she won the Musadora, it was put down to a
fine front-running
ride from Ryan Moore, and he went against her in the Oaks. She
wasn't stopping that day, and that was borne out in the Oaks.
She wasn't. And
everyone said, was she flattered on the soft ground, but now she can go on good ground. Oh, I love these horses that they just keep finding.
Yeah.
Don't often associate that, with the fillies.
I think she'll mix it up with the boys, no problem at all.
She's getting the weight allowance.
Yeah, gets the weight allowance. And
lots been said about that recently, isn't it?
It's been back in the news again, hasn't it? Yeah.
Coming on saying, should we have the Group 1 allowance for the fillies, maybe lower level, maybe. It's been obviously important, isn't it, in levelling things up. A couple of years ago, the programme had to be redesigned. It's almost gone a bit too well for them, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
People are never satisfied, aren't they?
Levelling up is a bit of a buzzword, of course. Let's not go there. So look, I don't know, once they've won a Group 1, should it be abolished? I don't know. Let us know your thoughts about all that sort of thing. OK, right. Let us get involved with this next race. It's 3 o'clock. We've got 13 minutes to go. Let's ramp it up, shall we? A reminder of the tips before we delve into the minds of Poste and Batchelor. What can go wrong there? Fearby for Batch. The rest of us are taking him on Posty with...
Each way, Swayze for me.
Swayze to dance the dance. It's Armour for me. Barry?
Playing the favourite.
Playing the
Have
fav.
the field running for me at around 7-4 on.
So the first race, like yesterday, the market kind of got it right, didn't it? 9-2 shot beat Fav. 6-1 shot in the last, bit of a throw up, but we're still waiting for a Fav. Could it be third time lucky here? Are you on Fearby or are you going elsewhere? Let us know.
I would give Kaboo a little bit of an each-way chance.
Colbert's got a good record in this race.
It was behind Fearby at Sandown, didn't get the best of runs.
Still looked very green, didn't
Very
it? This was the gamble, wasn't it, at Royal Ascot?
And then the Windsor Castle at Royal Ascot, wasn't it? But I mean, if anything, you could say that Sandown was a little bit disappointing. Because I mean, it was the gamble at Royal Ascot, but still ran a huge race on debut to be sixth and only beat sort of 3.5 lengths. But
he's a big 2-year-old from what I can remember.
Yeah.
I saw him at Sandown thinking this will probably win this.
But with natural progression, you'd have probably been hoping for a little bit more at Sandown, would you, or not?
I thought, well, yes, I was surprised he didn't get second that day.
He did get a bit of trouble in running. So things didn't really go, because of the greenness, didn't go straight forward. But again, another run under its belt.
But they're not taking it easy on Kaboo, are they? You know, as in it's
like Eldrick Jones, did you see that yesterday? The Roger Fell horse, that's a maiden still, and they're going in, isn't it? So we've seen that Moho Star, haven't we? This run.
You would wonder why that now that they wouldn't just drop it back after 2 goes in Patton Company.
Get a novice into it.
Just go and win a little race and then step up again. So that,
Yeah, okay, all right. So here we are. We are approaching, is it nearly half time? I suppose it is. We've got the Sussex coming up at 3:35 as well, haven't we? Are you with Poetic Flair? Are you against, as we said at the top of the show, Barry Orr taking on, Tom Segal taking on, I'm taking it on. We're all taking on, in fact, aren't we?
Yeah, we're all.
We're unanimous, which doesn't often happen on this panel, does it?
I'm not taking it on.
So he goes and hoses up now, doesn't he, basically? Shall we talk about Galway? Because we've got 10 minutes to this race. Who saw the race last night then?
I heard about it. I didn't see it, but I heard about
It was
it.
a fillies maid. Let's go to Barry. Barry, last night at Galway. Just when we thought the dust was settling, we were in for a nice, enjoyable night, there was a huge news story, wasn't there? In a fillies maiden, Dermot Weld filly. It was the second race, wasn't it, Barry? And a horse called Twinkle ended up winning it. But my goodness gracious me, what a story that was. We had a Jesse Harrington newcomer that actually first passed the post. Turned out it wasn't the right horse.
Yeah, it was actually a 3-year-old filly rated 79 that was due to run subsequently in a handicap on the card called Aurora's Princess. So they had got the runners mixed up. I think it was Bubba Ammond who did the saddling up, and Jessica only saw the horse, the filly, when she was in the parade ring, and didn't notice, because apparently they're very similar. The way she put it was they're like twins. So it was a mistake made, and obviously there's ramifications in the betting industry and wider afield off the back of it. And it's a very difficult thing, because obviously a mistake like this shouldn't be made. The horses get chipped, and they should know, and maybe the people who are leading them up should know as well. But you can see how it's happened. It happened last year with Aidan O'Brien, if you recall, in Newmarket. Now, obviously, it's a different scenario there, in that they had different set of people in the UK because of COVID restrictions. So they had different handlers in the UK, and they weren't in Ballydoyle, those same people. So, you'd give them a pass for that. But yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? But the ramifications from a betting point of view was the horse was deemed a runner, although it didn't run.
I mean,
because to disqualify and place the runner up first, they have to disqualify something. But to disqualify something, you have to deem it a runner.
I mean,
so,
this is mad, Barry, isn't it? I mean, so Aidan O'Brien's got one in there called Twinkle, which ended up getting it in the stewards. Guess who backed Twinkle? It was a thieving each way bet for me. Like at the start of the day, I was like, listen, this goes close. There was a horse called Radika of Dermot Wells who was expected to pretty much go and take it out for Weld and Galway. We know the scene then. And then flagged up in the poor old Fran Berry, who was covering the race for Racing Post TV, said, I'll tell you what, guys, there's one standout in the paddock here. He said, and it turned out to be Alazarine, who was the Kirsty Rouse, big scopy sort, Aurora Princess.
Looks ahead of his years.
And afterwards, Gary O'Brien, it came through horses and it won. And I'm thinking to myself, well, we bumped into one. This could be another, top one for Jessie. It would have been her third winner of the week. And then all of a sudden, I'm thinking to myself, they're not settling this. I was making dinner, all that sort of thing. Had forgotten about it. I'm thinking, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden, I looked down and I went, 5-4 winner, Twinkle. Unbelievable scene. So straight after the race, he went, well done, Fran, for flagging that. And of course, Fran came in for a load of stick. But listen, Fran Berry, one of the top guys out there. We love Fran. Absolutely great guy to hang out with. And if of course, he was absolutely justified, because if he hadn't have said it was a paddock pick, what are you doing there, man?
Yeah, exactly.
But this is remarkable, isn't it? And of course, Barry alluded to Snowfall. He alluded to Mother Earth. Both classic winners, by the way. Unbelievable story.
I mean, going back to that, I suppose what's happened there is whoever's tacking them up has just put the wrong tack on the wrong horse, rather than, like, they were both in the right race, if that makes sense. But
yeah,
I'm chucking it out there. Why doesn't someone just have a microchip reader when they walk into the
When they go into the paddock. They only get chipped once.
Does this have to be when the saddles are on, though? And listen, you're horsemen. When you saddle a horse, you want to get it out on the track, right?
But the issue, the saddling thing was just human error.
There'd be a few welfare issues there, do you know what I mean?
The saddling thing was just human error. Both those horses were due to run in that race at Newmarket, and whoever's tacking them up by whatever, I mean, if they just put the wrong number club, the wrong saddle on each horse.
That was more human error.
But what happened last night is surely easily rectified by someone just with a microchip reader, and as they walk into the paddock, they scan the chip on the neck.
Yeah.
Is that what they do in England, Charlie?
Do you know what, Barry? The hand on heart, I don't honestly know.
I know what they do. You get to the races, you arrive at the races.
Yeah, they do it
Your
then.
horse walks in, as you said, that's how easy it is.
Yeah.
They've got the machine there just to say that's checked in. And listen, there's a lot of going on before it actually goes to the paddock. You've gone in, you put it in the stable, the lad or lass leading it up. You'd like to think, there's numbers on there's numbers on the stables, and you'd know which one they're in. But again, to stop all of that, as soon as you come out of the stable, you've brushed them off, you get into the paddock, and as Charlie says, all you need is another chipper machine just to do it again, just to check.
And it's no way intrusive to do it. Like,
just to, for anyone that doesn't understand, each horse on the microchip has an individually exclusive number that's on their passport. So all that happens is they run the reader over the horse's neck, and immediately the number comes up on the screen. And if it correlates to what's in the passport, that's the horse.
That's the horse.
I'm learning as I'm going here, Barry. I'm sure the viewers are as well.
It is a simple fix, and it's so...
Simple fix, says Mattie Batch. And you had to fill for the bookies, Barry, because, of course, you paid out 2 past the post, didn't you?
On the sports book, they paid out on both as winners. And on the exchange, obviously, it's rules of racing. And SIS had given us, the weighed-in hadn't come true yet. So SIS gave it as a disqualification, gave the horse as a runner. So we had to, on the exchange, we had to pay out, obviously, on the rules of racing, which meant the second getting it. So that led a lot of people to believe that we should have declared on the exchange, a non-runner, the Jessica Harrington horse, as if it didn't go into the stalls almost.
Yeah.
But the IHRB very clearly said that wasn't. It's a case for the IHRB as well to have a look at their rules here.
I think so.
And give themselves a bit of leeway.
Yeah, at least it was flagged up in, I suppose, fairly good time. At least this wasn't one of these things that you're finding out about later down the line. And
the first thing of betting you're taught when you're a kid is if you can't win, you can't lose. And obviously people who backed that, what they thought was the Jessica Harrington 2-year-old, and it didn't run. But the IHRB declared the horse that ran in its place as, for all and betting purposes, that it was a runner, that the 2-year-old was a runner. So they need to take a look at the rules, I think.
Yeah, okay, so something for the IHRB. And how sad do you feel for Jessie Harrington? She came out, didn't she? Said, hands up, human error. Very, very sorry for Jessie. We feel for you out there as well. And there you are. It was just a remarkable thing. And the person I felt most sorry for out of everyone was Barry Orr, because just as he's about to put his feet up, I reckon the red siren went off and someone was trying to get hold of him, and all of a sudden a quiet night was turned into an absolute Horlicks, Barry, I can only imagine. So listen, let's hope you make it third time lucky in the Molecombe. Have we got a social up there? Dugu Zuru comes on and says, Phoebe is the best bet of the day. A nap, finally, from someone. Easily the best form, ground perfect and still improving. Chipotle just won't handle the ground. Yeah, will he sizzle on this one? I do not know. Okay, we filled that. Thanks, guys, for a word on that. Thank you, Barry. It was all a bit confusing. Incredible story. These things, though, can occasionally happen. What a year, I keep saying it has been. But somebody ended up back in the winner. That's all that matters. Right, so honestly, I couldn't believe it. I thought to myself, after the day I've had, I needed a bit of luck as well. So I am hoping for the Armour will show up here. This is a race, of course, that Hannon, he's got Gubbas tomorrow as well in the Richmond, doesn't he? I think that's the one that they're really hoping for this week as well. We've got Snow Lantern coming up, less than half an hour now away pretty much, aren't we, from the biggie of the day. It is the Sussex. No Palace Pier, of course. And if you thought, didn't you, when Palace Pier was scratched from the race, blood disorder wrong, he'll be back from the Marois, we think, in France. Surely he was going to go off odds on Poetic Flair. Not the case on the exchange. Nice juicy price if you like him. Okay, so the Molecombe, Fast and Furious. Where do you think they're going to want to go pace-wise? Do you think they'll try and edge off the rail, or...?
that seemed to be the place to be yesterday, didn't it? Like
Slightly off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, it's going to be interesting. Where's the speed going to come from, Dave?
Very good question. I mean, look, fast and furious, this, isn't it? I mean, they're young horses, but
Bonnie.
Booney, our boy Will, possibly.
Will, yeah.
Mojo Maker, Nymphadora likes to be up there. Your one, Swayze, likes to be up there as well. Chipotle, I think, and Fearby, we can expect them to be coming from behind. Armour up there as well. It's just going to be...
I mean, Kevin Ryan's horse ran well in the Windsor Castle. Is that a chance of a double for them or not?
Booney?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a horse that they obviously do like. Absolutely. Brazen Bow, the sire, the Australian sire at Shamardale, maybe they would have liked slightly better ground. I should say, actually, after race 2, it has been upgraded, drying out all the time. It's now soft, good to soft in places. So that's all over. That's not just on the round course. So this is the first race of the day on the sprint course. Perhaps Chipotle, that's all in his favour, isn't it? This usually goes to a very, very fast post-Royal Ascot horse. I wonder if we might see something different here. Fearby might the one. This will be the feather in Ed Bethel's cap, wasn't it?
Yes.
Big drifter to favour.
Is it really, Barry? What price is he now?
Yeah, the 296, 294, 296 now. Money for Nymphadora into 8. Chipotle Friendless, Amour 9. Jingan, the one that I flagged earlier, is into 13 from 20. But you had a favourite. It's out to over 2-1 now, Dave.
Okay, for Cox and Kirby. So over 2-1. There you go on exchange. I thought for sure he was going to go off and do Zero. You can see there. It's the nap of the day. Good to have you back, by the way. Keep your socials coming up. Myself, Dave Orton, Mattie Batchelor, Charlie Post, and Barry All steering you here until just after the 4:10. That's our last race of the day. Still 3 more to come. We're not even near half time. Happy days. Weather looks set fair as well, doesn't it? Not that we ever really know. Who's playing up there? Mojo Maker. Is that what we said? Mojo Maker.
Mojo Maker.
Yeah. Myself. Who trains that? Oh, there we go. In we go.
David Lugnane.
Beautiful Roman wall there you can see in the background. Look at that. The Sussex Downs. This would be probably a beautiful day to be there, wouldn't it, today?
Yeah, it'd be a great day. Yeah. It's in. I mean, again, it's still a bit overcast and that. I mean, they've not been blessed with beautiful sunshine yet. As Batchy said, he was there playing.
It was a lovely day there on Monday, Dave.
The bandits were
Of course, you played golf. Yeah, we'll go to that afterwards. It was a Racing Post day as well. They didn't win. Someone did. All right, let's see who wins the Malcolm. 3 o'clock, Fast and Furious. And we're off. Has anyone missed it? Oh, Swayze wasn't great, was he? Kaboo wasn't great as well. Our boy Will out in the centre. Armour and Booney on the near side. In fact, it's Booney that's going to lead them a merry dance here. Swayze recovering. Fearby not too far off them. Down the centre. 3 going centre then, guys. Nymphadora, Our Boy Will, and Chingman on there. Where's Chipotle? We're expecting him on the outside. Posty, who's catching your eye?
I mean, I think your horse at the moment, Armour, travels well. They're up against the stands rail, Dave.
Just one off it, isn't he, Batch?
Yeah. Swayze's looking green and raw, so I'm not too happy with my own selection. And Fearby is close enough, if good enough.
Yep, 2 furlongs out then. Could this be a Ryan double? I think he's saved a little bit, hasn't he, there? On Booney, Kevin Stott doing the steering this time. Armour up against the rail. Could this be another one for Hannon? They've struggled to come from
Come
off
on,
the pace.
PJ!
Fearby's not quite there, hasn't quite got the pace. Armour on the near side. That's it. Bullets will not penetrate him. He's gone flying clear. 2 from 3. Wow, what a finishing split that was. Booney was broken inside the final furlong. Fearby had his chance. Armour, have we seen another one there for Al Sakab, a former powerhouse owner, of course, in Britain. They took some of the horses away to go for other jurisdictions. They've got one here, guys, haven't they?
Impressive,
Woo!
yeah, very impressive.
Armour then, Barry. There was a protracted duel between him and Booney. The rest struggled to get involved. When did they know he was going to scoot away?
Yeah, the Booney hit a low 122, which is 2-9, Dave, for 385 quid. Fearby, your favourite, who threatened for a while, hit a low at 218, which is just under 5-4. And the winner, Armour, hit a high of 44 in running, but just for small money, a fiver at 44. Would you believe? I can't see how that he fairly turned around the Ascot form with Chipotle for sure. He looks a nice sort. Just waiting for the guys to come through. If there's anything from the traders, any anti-post movements there, I'll let you know.
Yeah, of course. We'll pick out where and plot where they might go with a horse like this. I think 6 furlongs can be no problem whatsoever. Back to back for Zach as well. Of course, he put up Last Empire. Armour was his pick in this. Zach, you're having the absolute day of days. Yeah. Who's been following in Zach? Wow. Good stuff. I have to say, I'm 2 from 3 as well. Just
That was
Two from
very
three,
good.
yeah.
Don't undersell. Don't
Does yours
undersell.
end up in the middle park or somewhere like that?
Yeah, good shout. I mean, listen, we don't know what's going to come from Gubbers next, of course. They've still got Lusail, who was the July, of course, winner, was scratched yesterday from the Vintage. He could drop back to 6. We're watching it from the gate. Swayze, you knew your fate early, didn't you?
Fell out the stalls, looked very, very green and raw. And
So did Gaboo. That was.
this was again.
Got to go back to novice company with Capu, haven't they?
Now, yeah.
Yeah, he's a big sort. I think he might. I wonder how much he left at Royal Ascot. Chipotle didn't really handle the ground again, did they? The problem is with Chipotle, and the reason why I didn't give him another chance tip-wise, you're restricted options now, aren't you, for 5 furlong 2-year-olds?
Yeah.
There's not that many. You've got Flying Childers.
Flying Childers at Doncaster.
And maybe something at Newmarket a little bit later on. But you've got to kind of roll the dice, haven't you, a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there is every chance. He's a Brocklesby winner as well, wasn't he? That he could just end up being a 2-year-old. So
That's his 6th run, yeah.
with the greatest respect to Chipotle, they've done incredibly well with him. But he's probably going to be busy between now and the end of the year, isn't he? Because
He's done his best on ground that's not ideal for him, as did Fearby Batch. And you had a little shout momentarily.
Yeah, I just thought he was just going to come and make a run of it. But yeah, the winner is very impressive. And you say he had the Eve Johnson out.
Winner in the running up, drawing 10 and 11.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes,
Stand rail.
stand side, of course. Yeah, so unlike at Ascot, they don't give us the exact across the track at Goodwood with the going sticks. But, of course, tomorrow it will be the decks for the Stewards' Cup. And will you want to be high? I remember speaking to Charlie Hills about Batash. He's got Motagali that goes in. He wanted to be low, he was telling me. So you don't want to be in the middle, basically, is what they're saying. But Booney showed great speed, didn't he? They'll be buzzing off that, you would imagine.
Yeah.
The Ryan Yard, they like to target those big sales races later on, don't they? They'll be having him at mine of that maybe for the Ebor meeting. What I love about this horse, guys, is that he kind of was up there throughout, and he didn't want the rail initially, did he, Ryan Moore? He wanted to just be one off, which I think has absolutely been in his favour. He probably wanted to lead. He didn't get it, and he's had to sort of go to plan B, and then he's got into a battle, and then the turbo kicked in as well.
As you're saying, I don't think there'd be any problem in him staying 6 either.
He's a no-nay never out of a high chaparral mare. And a half-brother to a Mile 2 winner. Dan was a French...
Yeah, pedigree's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, actually, has he been doing very well to win over 5 furlongs? Look, maybe. Team Hannon, big boost for them. Pre-Snow Lantern in the Sussex, which comes up next. He's in the Gym Crack. Perhaps that's the place to go next, isn't it?
Yeah, 5 from 10.
Yeah, that'd make sense. wouldn't
Okay.
it? Yeah.
Ooh, who's your favourite for that then, Barry, the Gym Crack at the moment?
I'll have to just find that out for you, Dave.
Let's have a little look, see if I can get it up. Of course, Berkshire Shadow and the likes would have been in that as well, wouldn't they? This is, of course, the Group 2 we're talking about, the Ebor meeting in the middle of August next month. That'd be fascinating. Asymmetric, of course, who runs tomorrow for Team King. Alan King's best 2-year-old. Could he have a say in that? Details and bit Castle Star could come over from Ireland. But I don't know, that 5-1, that's relatively tempting for me, I think. He'll absolutely love you.
It's great to see it again. We've talked about it before. Horses galloping through the line strong like that, and the further he went, the better he looked, didn't he?
The ground didn't look bad, really, did it? I mean, look, some struggled, but you're probably talking about a mixed bag of.
It depends what horse you're looking at. If you're looking at the winner, yeah, the ground looks fine.
Do you think Fearby would be better back on quicker ground then? You must give him
Possibly,
a
yeah.
chance.
And if you look at Charlie Bishop's horse, Chipotle,
That was a brilliant pronunciation.
that was good, wasn't it? Yeah.
You pulled that out.
Pulled that out of the bag. Yeah.
You weren't sure which way you were going with that one.
And the ground looked.
We spoke
that
to her
didn't
about
suit,
the
yeah.
pronunciation of that horse, by the way, because everyone's
Was it
called
Chipotle or
Chipotle.
Chipotle.
It's a Mexican chili, isn't it? We all had Chipotle sauce on something, haven't we? If you like tacos
yeah.
or something like that.
Love it.
If you're obviously still not allowed to eat them, probably your strict dietist regime. But
Strict regime.
Posty was chucking bottles of champagne and eating Chipotles.
Yeah,
Chipotle.
Goodwood yesterday.
I'm all over those Chipotles.
I would love. Have you got any pictures of the champagne chucking? I'd love to see that. Maybe should we? You don't want to.
Gotta have a video somewhere, innit?
Who won the
I
champagne?
think I've got a picture of my father-in-law in what looked like a suit of armour at about 2 a.m. So.
Is that he was? Oh yes, indeed. Sounds like a bit of a character. Who won the chucking? Would you win something or?
Yeah, everyone pays a tenner, and when there's about 30 people doing
It's whoever takes the pot.
Take the pot.
Nearest the.
Yeah, so
Right.
a guy called Nick Reynolds, no real racing connection, but yeah, he was Hawkeye with the champagne bottle thrown. Yeah.
Darn that.
Is it
Reynolds.
underarm or overarm?
You can have whatever technique you want.
Is that right? There's no rules. It's just like all come.
Yeah, just.
Come on, I fancy a go on this, don't you? It's like
Yeah.
nearest the, coin nearest the wall, isn't
Oh, I
it?
used to play that at school.
Yeah, nearest the wall was brilliant. We used to play that after racing at Cheltenham.
We had to be a bit shrewd at our school because if you went to the tuck shop or the lunch queue, if the old coin was scuffed. They wouldn't service and you've been playing that penny up the wall.
Talking of winning things at Goodwood, we've got
yeah.
time, plenty of time. We've got, half an hour now till the Group 1.
We can go through hole by hole.
So, Goodwood on Monday, it was great to have this back, wasn't it? The Golf Day. I have to say the Racing Post entered a team. Bruce Millington, we'll be seeing him back on the panel on Friday, and our very own Paul Keeley were on that as well. I think they're still looking for their scorecards because someone came out on top, Mattie Batchelor.
Yes, we did, my team. We were very well handicapped, Dave.
Had this been a plan in the making for a while?
This had been, we've sort of put in a few handicap cards together.
You're a keen golfer then, Batchelor.
Yeah, I love
You're
my
like
golf.
Barry, you're a keen golfer.
Yeah.
So what do you play off? Really?
Really, I can...
Oh, he's never going to reveal that live on air, is he? Absolutely not.
No, just in case there's a Betfair day.
I think there probably will be. Barry, you'll like this story. So it's Rupert Bell, isn't it? Father of Ollie, of course, who sorts this out.
It was his first year sorting it out.
Oh, okay.
His first year sorting it out and sort of sent the message, said...
Oh, that makes a bit more sense because
Yes.
you emailed him in June and said, can I have my regular
Yeah,
team?
can I have the regular spot, my team.
So what is this day, though? Whose day is it?
Qatar just pay for it there, yeah. And it's there's 2 courses at Goodwood. There's the Downs course, which is a members-only course. You can't get on that for love or money. But for that day only, they let us on there. And the buggies, they're just real nice. You get there, you hand your clubs over, they're cleaned, they're put on the buggy. Bacon roll, I had some muesli.
If anyone from Jersey's
Anyone from Jersey's listening? A bowl of muesli.
Yeah.
With oat milk.
Well, whatever you had, Batch, it worked for you.
Yeah, we played well. I say that my mate normally plays off sort of 13, the other one 12, and they was all off 22.
If Bruce is watching it, he will absolute rematch, I think, is in the offing.
Yeah, Bruce and Keeley, yeah, they had a mare.
I think Kills did
Yeah,
have a mare, didn't he? He said that, yeah, very much so.
No, it was
Okay,
just
that was
great day, and yeah.
Qatar sponsored it, didn't they?
Yeah, they've done it for the
The
last...
prizes were good then, I presume.
A
know
little
where
bit
you're going with this. What did you
disappointed.
win?
Well, a voucher.
But where was the voucher from?
The shop, the golf shop on the golf course.
Pro shop.
The pro
the
shop, right?
States.
So I goes in there, I said, oh, I've got a voucher. Can you...
It's not cheap in there.
It's not cheap in there, no. I
You
could
said
have
you've got to spend 200 quid to
Yeah.
claim the voucher
Did you
back.
get a visor?
75 quid. 75 quid. All I could get was a sleeve of balls.
Is that right? Oh, no, you're
Pro
kidding me.
V1s, Barry.
Oh, dear
I know I've
Lord.
played it a couple of times. It's good. The prizes aren't too good, but they put on a decent spread, don't they?
Yeah, nice.
Can't be many
Boogies for
courses,
everyone.
Barry,
Yeah, it's a
that
great
you
golf
haven't
course.
played over here on some sort of day. It's a big thing of yours. You've missed that in the last year, haven't you?
Oh, very much so, yeah. It's always some cracking golf days. And usually there's people from the Racing Post at them as well, Dave, so I don't feel so bad. I'm not on any sort of jolly up. There's always plenty of people from the Post in attendance.
Yes.
But, there's some cracking Golf Society race days as well, yeah.
Yeah, still waiting for my invoice on that one. But if the voucher's anything to go by, I think I'll wait for next year.
Yeah, you'll pick a better day, won't you?
What a year to win it, eh?
I've gone into the shop. She's showing me all the clothing range. Well, this is our range. I says, got any kiddie sizes? She's showing me double XL. I said, you don't cater for midgets, do you? I said,
Oh, dear.
Give us an umbrella.
Is that something you find difficult? You know, do you have to?
No, I find it a great advantage. I bought some golf shoes the other day. Retail at 120 quid, kid size 56 quid.
Unbelievable.
Thank you very much.
What size shoe are you then?
6.
What? Really?
Beautiful.
6. Posty?
8.
Hey, oh, well, us size 11s are struggling a little
Yeah.
bit over here then. Yeah,
I could canoe in them, Dave.
If it's anything,
in something
if it's anything like your golfing, you should be in Tokyo right now, shouldn't you? Absolutely. Maybe you could be doing that. So anyone looking for a Ryder Cup partner, Mattie Batch is your man. There you go. So it's not just the racing that's happening at Goodwood. Great that everything's still back. They've got the Festival of Speed coming up as well. Is that that must be
That's
coming
been
up
and
soon.
gone, isn't it?
Has it been and gone?
Yeah, I think that's been done, yeah.
Yeah, okay. It was
Keanu
great.
Reeves made an appearance, Dave.
Did he really?
Yeah, he loves his cars. He
How
was
did you
down
know
there.
that then?
I saw it. They have it on the TV now and then. Rowan Atkinson, he's very big into his
Yeah, he
cars,
is, isn't he? Yeah, brilliant.
Keanu Reeves, yeah.
Doesn't do enough these days around that because I watched Johnny English show the other day with my son. Absolutely brilliant. There you go. Look, we digress. Okay, we've got. Shall we ramp it up? It's Group 1 action for you. The Fav took it out yesterday, Barry. Is it going to be lightning strikes twice with Poetic Flair?
Yeah, he's 252 now from 276. There was 2,800 quid match at a high of 274. So, yeah, the money's come from all right. 7-4 into 6-4 now. 5.6 alcohol free, 6 snow lantern, and it's 14 bar. Lupe Fernandez, the ground looks like it's gone for him. Century Dream, there was some money for that. I'm going to lay the favourite, but I'm going to select the lay at my own odds. I don't even want to go 6-4 to lay it. So if you click on lay on the pink box, and if you take it down, you punch in 2.33 in that box there, 233. So around 11-8, I'm looking to lay it at, and we're looking to take 50 of the backer's stake.
We've got 2-3-2 or 2-3-4. You want me to actually punch in 2-3-3? Yeah.
Sorry, no, 232. Yeah,
232.
232.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, 232.
How much you want?
We look to take 50 quid out of the backer stake for a liability of around 66 quid.
Yep.
And that's what we're looking to do here. 11-8. If we get matched around 11-8, that's okay. If not, I'm not too perturbed either. But that's just showing the flexibility of the exchange, where you can set your own odds and be the master of your own destiny.
Okay, there we go. Master of your own destiny. There we are then. All right. So, Poetic Flair, how low do you want to go? Posty?
Like I say, as in, if he goes and wins, I'll be delighted because I think he's a very good horse. But I just think at the price, with the question mark over him being at his very best on slow ground, he's worth taking on, isn't he? As in, this is another race a bit like the Molecomb, and I got it horribly wrong in that, but I chucked up an each way selection and a do hail of Andre Farbes, as in he looks below top class. He's been placed in a number of group races in France, but he goes on slow ground. He handles slow ground well, and I just thought I'd just be surprised if Andre Farbes would be sending one over for no reason if he didn't think that he could sort of get in the frame with a horse like that, you know. And Connections won the Molecomb just now, so going for a double.
Yeah.
Al-Shakab.
Okay, then Al-Shakab double. Do hail. Yeah, there's a bit of love from that from Paul Keeley as well. Why is he coming over? I guess you think say Robbie Wild just put that up as well. I saw on the app today, one of our tipsters as well.
I can see the alcohol free. You'd think the sharp mile is going to suit her really well. Looks like bags of toe, doesn't she?
Yeah.
As in, she almost didn't quite see it out at Newmarket the last day on the face of it. I mean, she looked for all the world. She's going to win running to the final furlong.
Yeah, it's exactly that. I'm with alcohol free. Get this out the way now. Oisin Murphy, hoping he gets his winner on the board. I think that she ran very well in the Falmouth. If she comes back to her Coronation Stakes win, I think that proved her over the mile. Didn't it round the bend? Jeff Smith's not won the Sussex, of course, since Chief Singer all those years ago. Great piece from Jeff in the paper today. The ground going to be absolutely fine for her. If only she had a slightly lower draw, I'd be very, very keen on a nearly nap time of the day, I think. However, I think that if she gets a lead again, she's going to show that acceleration. I think he's.
You're worried that he's going to have to use a bit of fuel to get there?
That's the problem from stall 9. Yeah, if it was just a little bit low, I guess if you go back to Nagano's run at the start, I think basically maybe a clear run down the outside, that would be very, much better. I think. So, Posty, you've gone for the double for Hannon. Who on earth for Al-Shakab? Sorry, who are you going for, Batch?
Snow Lantern for me. I'm with Posty on Poetic Flair. It's hard not to like the horse, but Snow Lantern, what she done at Newmarket, and the only thing. Listen, Jamie Spencer is different class, and I think we spoke about it earlier. That's why he's on the horse. She needs to settle a little bit, but some of them horses like this, it's Sean Leavely, he rides her out her home.
I don't think it can be a positive, Jamie Spencer.
No, and that's no disrespect to Jamie Spencer, but Levy rides her out at home, and horses like that, they get to know the riders, Posty, don't they? And you get that relationship with them. Listen, I'm going with her because I like her a lot, and what she done at Newmarket impressed me, but that's the only negative I would have.
Yeah.
It's not Spencer as a jockey, but because Levy is not on it more so than Spencer.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Okay, so this is an absolute belter, isn't it? It is the Group 1 Sussex. 3:35 is the time. Let's hear from you. Bobby Kimber joins the show and says, Poetic Flair looks an absolute picture. I think it's as simple as sticking with him. Oh, he's a beast of a horse on his day, isn't he? Ginger Joe says, I'm buzzing to say the least. I see Snow Lantern run today. The most beautiful filly in training. 2 absolute cracking lookers then. I suppose it's the grey that you fall for a little bit, isn't it? Very much.
Yeah, everyone's got a little soft spot for a grey.
Yeah. And potentially better than her Great Dam, of course.
Yeah.
Which is by Frankel, isn't she?
I mean, she's some pedigree, hasn't she? I mean, crikey, yeah. It's an absolute belter, isn't it? And again, at the moment, Frankel's carrying all before him as a sire, isn't he? He's getting better and better.
Okay, all right then.
Century Dream, would we give that a little each way?
Yeah, should we go through them? Should we go through them? Yeah, Century Dream. Barry, I hear you there. He's a course and distance winner. He's a 7-year-old, isn't he? So he's going to need maybe some of the younger ones to underperform, but he's likely to be up there and he'll love the ground.
Well, he's going to get a run of the race, isn't he, Dave? And we saw it yesterday with the King Power horse that I backed in the big race, just getting the run of the race from on front end. And I think he's going to get that here as well. Obviously, he's got a bit to find with Tilsit. But his beating of Top Rank in Windsor was a pretty decent run. He'll enjoy the ground. And, he's going to be there or thereabouts. He's got a big each-way shout.
Easy. Okay.
Being up with the pace we've seen is a major positive.
And he is talented enough, isn't he, to have a say in these big races. We have seen him place and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, okay.
Aidan O'Brien's pair with the ground.
Yes, Baron. We mentioned the ground, didn't we? Order of Australia came good last time. Race he had to win. Pick a Ryan Moore, which is interesting. Maybe they knew because of the ground. Because Lopi Fernandez, I should say. Always want to say that Y in that name. My turn to get the pronunciation totally wrong. He just didn't show up in the lock-ins, did he? We think because of the ground.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was as simple as that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Much better run last time at Ascot.
Big prices there. Okay, Tilsit, another one as well that we've said. What about the rest of them?
French horse, Do Hale.
Yeah, Do Hale. That's the one that Poste likes. Jim Crowley is on second, of course, in the big Group 1 yesterday. Andre Fabre says he's genuine, consistent miler, doesn't know how to run a bad race. Been below top class so far, but he's progressive, and I'm hopeful he could get a place. Soft ground won't harm his chances. Right, fine, okay. So, again, 21% strike rate in recent years, and especially with the COVID restrictions at the moment, it's not easy for us to go over there. But as we know, French team pulled out of the Racing League, for example, because of all the restrictions. Hardly any came over to Royal Ascot. That's maybe a tip in itself, Post, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the way the ground is going, I'd prefer it if it was softer, if that makes sense, because I think it'd be more of a hindrance to some others, and he's proven to 100% handle deep ground, you know. But... yeah, crikey, Andre Fabre's a bloke that needs no introduction, isn't he? I mean, an absolute master trainer, and just for him to be taking the time and, as you've said, the effort and the hassle to get the horse over here, I just thought it was an interesting angle at sort of 16, 17, 18 to 1, you know.
Okay.
Space Traveller, you wouldn't think would have any sort of...
think this is probably biting off a little bit more
Yeah.
than he could chew. Yeah, nice horse, but something of an Oxo horse, and I think his win was, again, a very, very good bit of placing.
There's no reason he should beat Tilsit, is there? Like, you know, turn the form back around.
Probably not. Look in the social corner then. Who wins the Sussex Stakes? Poetic Flair, 43%. We've got a poll going on. I love it. Snow Lantern, 22%. Yeah, okay. So maybe second favourite, you're thinking she should be out there. And Alcohol Free as well. And the others 16% as well. So kind of the top three in the market. That makes a bit of sense. But perhaps you think that Snow Lantern... what are we expecting Spencer to do then on this girl?
He's surely going to slot in, no?
Yes, got to. Yeah, surely that's why he's on it.
Yeah.
I mean, with the ground drying out, Poetic Flair, is that looking a bit of a nicer price now? If he's...
Well, it would give you more confidence. And do you think at times you can be guilty of overthinking things? I mean, at the same time, he did run a mighty race quickly back in the Irish Guineas on very slow ground, didn't he? That you could almost argue he was an unlucky loser. And so he's shown top-class Group 1 form on slow ground.
Yeah.
And maybe we're all being guilty of making way too much of the fact that he was so good at Ascot last time on quicker ground, and then he probably is very good on slow ground too. And it might just go and prove in the end that he's just going to be better than the rest of these.
Absolutely. Yeah, very much so. So
And at 6-4, he looks quite tempting now.
Yeah, listen, it's one of those. I think that this will be potential egg on face if Poetic Flair just turns up and does what he's got to do. The ground is drying out all the time. He has gone close, Barry, hasn't he, in an Irish Guineas? And that came only 6 days after running on bad ground in the French Guineas. And it's a tricky one, this, so I can see why you don't want to go too low with your lay.
Yeah, he was just touched off by his stable companion, McSweeney, only beating a short head on bad ground in the Curragh. So he's had a good break. That's something he's not used to either. He hasn't ran for 43 days, so they dipped him plenty of times all through May, June. So that's a fair rest for him. So hopefully he hasn't forgotten how to race for his supporters. But 246 he is now, so edging ever towards the bet that we put in to get matched at 2.32. But we'll update on that before post time.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So where are we? 10 minutes away now. I love that poll, actually. It's good to see
Great,
out there.
yeah.
This was dubbed as one of the races of the year last year. It can be a bit of a messy race, can't it? So again, Snow Lantern, he's going to want to go surely down the Nagano route. Surely, I mean, this is Jamie Spencer. He's fearless, isn't he? Going through.
Yeah.
Where are we seeing the pace come from? That's the next thing we should look at, of course. Let's have a little look where we go.
I mean, Order of Australia can be ridden forward, can't he? I mean, that's what certainly Aidan has said as well. Century Dream, pace angle, no?
Pace angle, yes, definitely Century Dream. Order of Australia, probably. You would think would be up there. Tilsit doesn't like to sit too far back.
No.
Poetic Flair himself won't be too far off,
he'll
will
be
he?
up there, won't he, as well?
Yeah.
I mean, alcohol-free, how do you see them riding her?
Got to take a lead again, I think. I thought she did really well to hang on for third.
Yeah.
Some people I know that back to that day said, well, she had the run of the race on the rail. But again, this is a horse they weren't sure if she was going to step up and be, an actual classic filly.
Yes.
Maybe she'll be going back and doing the sprinting or whatever. But she definitely proved her stamina that day. And if you go back to Royal Ascot, that sensational performance in the coronation, ground was on the easy side. So I just think everything is absolutely.
I think ground is absolutely fine, isn't it? It's making sure that she's ridden to maximise her ability to get the trip, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So, okay, we are ramping it up here. Of course, we go off air after the 4:10. It's been good fun so far today, guys, isn't it?
Yes.
What does the rest of the week hold for you after today?
Hopefully a bit more golf.
Getting that handicap down. Absolutely. Something more than a voucher, I would imagine. Poste?
Yeah.
I've had a few days off, so I did actually get out on the bike yesterday morning, but there's a few of us have got quite a long ride tomorrow, 100k plus tomorrow, so that'll take up a bit of my time tomorrow, Dave, I'd say.
Okay, all right. So we should also talk about the charity. It's retraining of racehorses this month. But last month,
Yeah, I think Barry did unbelievable stuff.
he did you a right turn, didn't he? Just tell us a little bit about what that's all about in August as well.
Yeah, so like I say, I mean, we mentioned it before, but we're doing this cycling now. There's a bunch of us cycling from Carlisle to Newton Abbot racecourse, 5 days, 100 mile a day, all in aid of racing welfare. And yeah, so we're all trying to raise a couple of grand minimum each, and it's for a brilliant cause. And it's a charity that, yeah, if you love your racing, it's well worth supporting, because they do unbelievable things looking after anyone that works within racing if they fall on hard times or need help.
Yeah, okay, there
So
we
why
are.
didn't you do Newton Abbot to Carlisle? You wanted to come downhill,
I
I
want to go
suppose.
downhill, yeah.
But you got some characters doing it as well. I mean, I see Sean Boyce tweeting a lot about it as well.
Yeah, Boise's doing it.
Sky Supremo. Now, he, when I was on Sky a lot, he would always cycle in and out. I've said this a few times. Bit of a beast on it. He went on his own little staycation somewhere recently. The family hardly saw him because he's keeping his training up, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few of them giving it a big
He's not
kick.
going to be out of place.
Tom Messenger, ex-jockey.
Is he?
Yeah, I mean, most unathletic man you'd ever meet. I mean, you've seen him play football. You can't.
You can't.
Cricket, can't do that. Squash, I played him a few times. He could hardly hit the back wall. But he's thrown himself into the cycling over the last few years, and he's all right. But he's very into feeding strategy and stuff. He wakes up in the middle of the night if he's got a big race to get his porridge and oats on board, and he has alarms going off to make sure he remembers to drink, and has all his fuel bars and whatever else. And
Shame he didn't do that when he was riding.
yeah, I mean, it could have helped him, couldn't it? Yeah.
Very much so. Okay, so listen, if you want to show the charities a bit of love, if you're having a good time retraining a racehorse, you can still, of course, give some to racing welfare as well. Let's face it, it's the kind of year that we need to be generous, isn't it, as well? We're doing some great causes, and right from the start of 2021, Barry Orr has been knocking it out of the park. He's hoping to knock it out of the park in the Sussex, of course, taking this on. So listen, that 7-4 is long gone, Barry, obviously.
Yeah, 2.48 now, so under 6-4 now. Alcohol free, very strong, 5.5, which is 9-2. Snow Lantern a little bit weak, back out to 7.0, which is 6-1. Lupi Fernandez looks, according to the betting, the right one of Aidan O'Brien's with Frankie Dettori on it. He's the shortest of the two in the betting at 16. His stable companion Order of Australia Breeder Cup mile winner is 25. 12 Tilsit, Century Dream into 18 from 20. But favourite relatively strong now at the head of the market.
Okay, favourite. Well, indeed, looks to be hardening all the time to my eyes. So the big three in the market, as we're calling them now, the 3-year-olds, haven't they? Let's see how the 3-year-olds fare. Remind myself of the past 10
not bad.
winners of this. Yeah, it is the race where you think that they might take. No, okay. So it's an even split, 5 each. last 3-year-old to win it. Too Darn Hot, of course, in 2019, Mahatha last year. We had a couple of 7-year-olds as well, if you're on Century Dream. Lightning Spear, Here Comes Wendy. That was the soggy one, wasn't it, where he sort of sighed through the pack. The Gurkha was a 3-year-old as well. Kingman, obviously, Toronado, Frankel.
We just saw a few of them. Rock of Gibraltar, I think, came up there as well, and yeah.
There was some good memories. Yeah, it is.
There was a golden period, 2008. Henry the Navigator, 09, Rip Van Winkle, Cranford Clips in 10, 11, Frankel.
Yeah.
They were a nice bunch of 3-year-olds.
Great stuff. All right, then. So, yeah, we used to call it the duel on the Downs as well, because it'd be a big two. You remember Frankel against Canford Cliffs? Yeah. That was the one, wasn't it?
I was there. I went that day. Yeah, brilliant.
Toronado, Dawn Approach, all that sort of thing. Yeah. Great memories. All right. Will we see a superstar performance? Talking about superstar performances, Adayar's performance has put him now to the best 3-year-old on turf in the country. It was Poetic Flair, wasn't it, at one point? So this has been a very good year so far for 3-year-olds, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I feel like at the beginning of the year we were sort of
scratching around
whether they were, and the Derby, we were all like, oh well, it's obviously not a very good year
because of the year we'd had. Absolutely, yeah.
And you look at Charlie Appleby's hand now with Hurricane Lane as well. I mean, again, he must be interesting if they both turn up which way William Buick goes.
Very, very much so. Yeah, absolutely. I think that we will see something special here. I just think that from stall 2, Barry, is that a potential issue for Poetic Flair as well and Kevin Manning? Because he's not going to want to lead, is he? So could just potentially find horses coming back onto him.
Yeah, well, he had all the pace in. The pace was set up lovely for him in Ascot, wasn't it? When Ontario and the other horse, Namoose of Mark Johnson's, went off and set really fast fractions. It's going to be interesting because with drawn in 2, is he going to go forward with him? Or is he going to take a pull and then he runs the risk of being boxed in on that long straight in Goodwood? So I don't know. He could go forward potentially. Wouldn't want to get too lit up though. So it's a bit of a quandary for Kevin Manning.
Yeah, very much so. But you can imagine they've just been talking about nothing else from the weekend. Do you think he'll be keeping himself away from everyone in the weighing room? Obviously, we've still got the protocols and stuff, but
their protocols still in. Yeah, but I just think Kevin will ride him how he's supposed to ride him. He'll ride him like he's the best horse in the race. If you don't want to get on the lead, he'll stay down there, get a lead. Believe in that. His horse will get him out. A good horse will get you out of trouble, Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, I think without doubt. I mean, I think it is an interesting point though, because he probably doesn't want to make the run in, does he? I would doubt he wants to go forward and be setting it up for everything else. But with that 2 box, he doesn't want to end up in a situation where he ends up without having options. So you'd imagine in an ideal world he'd love to be following one off the rail if he had everything the way he wanted it, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out because there is enough speed in this, and I think we've also seen. It'll be interesting whether the riders factor in that it's been difficult to come from off the pace, hasn't it? I mean, we haven't seen a winner come from off the pace yet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that is a very good point.
He was prominent in the Guineas, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
He was never too far off it.
No, not at all. And I definitely think he's going to be up there. It's going to be interesting to see how positive he feels that he can be, as in whether he is confident enough to go forward and make the run in.
Because Alcohol Free can go forward as well, can't she?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of options in it. It's going to be tactically. It's going to be a very interesting race because, I mean, and you're looking at your main. If you're saying that Snow Lantern is your main rival, the last thing you really want to be doing if you're going to go out and make the run in is be setting too strong of fractions and making it easier for her as well. So. It's going to be quite a fascinating race to watch.
The first winner come off the pace, though, didn't it?
Well, Nagano, yeah.
Of course, sorry, yeah. No, apologies.
Yeah. It's a good shout. I just think, I think you're right. What we've seen in the last couple of races, and the more it dries out, I think the ground as well, that can have a little bit to it as well. We've got some social up there. Iron Simler, there's a name. Oh, Iron Smiler. Iron Smiler. That's an even weirder name. Okay, if the Nassau was 1 mile,
real name.
AF, Alcohol Free, and SL, Snow Lantern, make it easy for me, man, would be both going. Oh, right, and the Nassau. Yes, okay, Snow Lantern in the Nassau. See where you're going with this. Let's not pretend it's anything other than wanting to stick to 1 mile. What does he mean by that, do you think?
Well, I think we're all in agreement that they're milers, so therefore they're going to...
Well, Snow Lantern, funnily enough, someone had a conversation with, it might have been Dan Walsh, our producer today, it said, I'm pretty surprised they're not going for the Nassau because, it's the Frankel thing stretching out. She got better the further she went in the Falmouth. I could see where that went.
But they must be wary right now, the fact that they've spent and gone to all this lengths of getting her to switch off and race more.
Because they're talking about the Sun charity for her if she doesn't go well here. That's a mile, isn't it?
Yeah,
Sun Chariot.
Exactly. Yeah. And look, it'll be interesting. Maybe like Frankel as a 4-year, if she stays in training as a 4-year-old, maybe you will see her experimenting with going up in trip a bit. I think you both alluded to, it seems like Sean Levy's been a major part. I think Barry said it as well, of getting her to switch off at home, teaching her to do things the right way, and they've just sort of cracked it, winning a Group 1 at Newmarket, and to then gamble now, going 2 furlongs up in trip on slower ground, and then seeing her go and make a mess of all that good work that's been done by ripping and tearing and running too keen. It's probably not the right state. It's probably not the right time for her career yet.
She's a value commodity now, Poste, isn't she? Would you keep her in training as a 4-year-old?
Well, as a Frankel out of it, yeah, massively. I think for me, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Whereas you got a feeling, whereas alcohol free, there's just sort of, she's one of these fillies that was very good at 2, now very good at 3. Yeah, I think Snow Lantern's still got definitely more to come in the
She has, but I think Barry is right. You know, she's by a fantastic sire in Frankel. She's out of a
sire now.
Well, I think it looks that way, doesn't it? Yeah. He's a natural progression from Galileo, isn't it? So
he's the man.
Yeah, the late Galileo, of course, and another big news story recently was it as well. At Ballydor, now scratching for that new super sire. They'll find it, don't you worry about that. Okay, they are down there too. Alcohol free, it's an absolute picture, doesn't she?
Yeah, it does.
Big drift on Snow Lantern, 8-6 now, Dave. Snow Lantern,
wow.
So she's on the slide, yeah.
That's worrying,
she's out
isn't
this
it?
7.
Let's see if we can get a look at Snow Lantern then, guys. See if we can see, is she sweated up or something like that? She looked fine, didn't she?
She's quite relaxed there.
Keeping her away from
keeping her away from the others.
That's interesting. So alcohol free hardens up then. Is this the big 3 in the market? Will we see a surprise? Good luck wherever you're going. It's the 3:35. It is the Sussex Stakes. There she is, Snow Lantern. Just one of those strange drifts, I think.
Yeah, I mean, she looks very...
Just to update on our bet, we're not matched at 2.32. It did go to a low at 2.40, and then it's back out to 2.5 now, so 6-4 after being 2.4. But we're not matched, so I'm just going to cancel. Just take the bet down, Poste. I'm happy enough just to watch the race. It's going to be
cancel on match above, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, the last one is in. This is Sussex time then, 2021. Good luck wherever you're playing. It's exciting stuff. Who is going to get out in front? Let's have a look. All okay. Maybe a little think about it from Space Traveller. He's been steadied right out the back with Duhale, as expected. Indeed, it is Order of Australia and Century Dream taking a very good old just off the rail.
Alcohol-free concern.
Poetic Flair's very keen.
Is she very
lit up?
keen?
8 to 15 to 8, 2.86 on the exchange, straight from the gates.
There you go then. We've only gone 2 furlongs.
Alcohol-free out to 11.
That is because stall 9. It was always going to be the imponderable, this for Oisin
okay now.
Murphy.
She's okay now, but she was trapped very wide early. She definitely was over racing early.
And again, Snow Lantern.
Snow Lantern.
Absolutely lit up. So who's in pole position then? Probably the Fav?
Yeah, and I mean, I think is it Order of Australia in front at the moment. Ryan Moore seems to be in a very good rhythm. Poetic Flair now has a lovely slot, as we said, sort of one off, following a couple through. Snow Lantern looks to have just about dropped ahead now. And Tilsit as well in a good posse.
Very keen, Kevin Manning, not to get boxed in there. Looks like it's not going to happen. Stall 7 when he won at Royal Ascot. This time he was in 2, but he's going to get the run. I'll tell you what, he's just being shaken the reins. Okay, so Duhale really catching the eye. Is he going to get a run on the inside there? That would be very telling. But at the moment, Century Dream strikes. Alcohol free. How much did she take out of herself earlier on? Getting that position. She's going down the middle under Oisin Murphy. He senses victory. Oh, no run whatsoever on the inside for Duhale. What's coming over the top? Snow Lantern doesn't look good. That drift. Will she kick in the turbo? Poetic Flair then at the moment. Alcohol free. She's treading water a little bit. Will the line come in time? Space Traveller trying to close. Order of Australia coming back. Lopi White Fernandez. But at this point, it looks like Oisin Murphy's going to get it. Make a tones to the Falmouth defeat. What a star she is. Oisin Murphy punches the air. She's beaten Poetic Flair into second. Barry Orr, she pulled like a train early. What a filly.
What a filly is right. A fantastic race. The runner-up was all over the place, wasn't he? Could never seem to get him balanced. But alcohol-free hit a high of 11.5 in running, Dave. Your runner-up and favourite Poetic Flair hit a low of 1.7 in running for over 500 quid. That seems to be the story of the race. Snow Lantern ran on well to finish third, hit a low of 4.7 in running. But yeah, fantastic winner. 3-year-old fillies come out on top, and what a shout! Not going near the the Nassau tomorrow over a mile 2. Great result.
There you go. Absolutely right. So, Team Balding, they always get a big one during the week, don't they? Were you with her? Yeah, I think that if you knew and you were with her in the Falmouth, you had to give her another chance. She sort of led on sufferance a bit again. She is a keen filly, guys, isn't she? But, wow, very, very brave.
Yeah, very brave. And say, Snow Lantern, I think, and Poetic Flair, they were very lit up early, Posty, and just maybe might just have cost them. Yeah, messy race might have just cost them in the latter stages, I think.
I feel a bit irritated by each way selection. I feel like we wouldn't have won, but I think we'd have definitely been in the 3 with. I mean, he literally got.
Did you get no run, Posty?
Nothing.
No, Jim Crowley had to just sit and suffer,
again and again. And by the time he's actually got a bit of a split up, I think he goes back to the inside in a minute as well. It's sort of all over. Yeah,
Monsieur Farbe, I think. Monsieur Farbe will be probably thinking that might have been one that got away for De Hale but he wouldn't have beaten the winner.
He wouldn't have beaten the winner, no.
Yeah, it did get a bit tight on the inside for Kevin Mattie. How much does that cost him, Batch?
Listen, I still think the best horse on the day's won. I don't think it might have cost him a length, but it ain't cost him a win.
Yes.
It might cost Oisin Murphy a day or two.
Snow Lantern run into 4th.
Sorry?
Snow Lantern's run on into 4th.
Third.
Oh, she was third in the end, was she?
Okay. Was 4th.
Right, third. I was looking. All right, fine. Promoted up. Don't worry out there. Those of you like, hang on a minute. She was definitely third, wasn't she? Now, again, we heard someone mail in and say maybe the right race for her was the Nassau, of course. They were certainly going to, because she again was lit up, wasn't she?
Look, the issue. There is no doubt that she has the sort of latent ability and galloping style that she's going to get Amana Quarter, but you'd have to worry about her seeing it out if she's going to over race like this early at the moment. Like, there is no doubt if they can get her to switch off, she's probably going to improve for going up in trip. But right now, I think that's a big gamble.
And if you step a horse like that up in trip, she becomes vulnerable because as jockeys in the race, you like, there's only one thing we're going to do here. We're going to go steady.
Yeah.
And put her to it. And so she's going to do exactly what the same she's done here. Pull too hard and probably won't finish. So it's over this sort of trip, you're going to get away with it a bit more if you step her up, because I think you're open up to. Yeah.
And where are we going to go with this winner now? Will she stick to the mile route, or will she go something like the Judmonte? Is extremely valuable.
She'll surely go Sun Chariot as well, no?
I would be tempted, I think, to stick to the mile with her. The Matron in Ireland as well.
20 from 25 for the Judmonte, yeah.
That suggests probably that's an unlikely target, doesn't it, I think? Although we've got some absolute worldies in that, haven't we?
Yeah.
God, it's exciting what we've got coming up, isn't it? It's crescendo of the flat season.
I mean, could she end up filly and mare turf Breeders' Cup? Is that 10 furlongs?
Yes, she absolutely could do. Balding wouldn't mind taking her over there. They've also got the mile over there as well. The Goldicover route.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there is that option as well.
Yeah, she obviously does like a bend, doesn't she?
Yeah.
There's no doubt in that.
Yeah.
I think we can say that. Just, let's explain that to people out there. Running around the bend, theoretically, should help a horse settle a bit better.
And see the trip out a bit more, you know. As in,
they're going that bit slower, aren't they?
Yeah. And the natural turn is sort of breaking up the out and out speed of what you're getting in a straight mile.
Brilliant. Who
Has
had
she
it?
no Goodwood well then?
Yeah, exactly right. Ross Briley.
Oh, Ross
running us
Briley.
away. Again, we did talk about that, didn't we, a little bit? Listen, the stats don't lie. For some reason this week hasn't been, up until now, all that kind like other meetings have been to
I think the way he celebrated that, he knows that.
Oh, this is what you love about Oisin.
He knows that.
He's another young jockey that knows how to celebrate, knows what the game wants.
Yeah.
Extremely good talker.
And there's no one more who know, as Ross Briley said earlier, that last year he'd know that. And that's the way he celebrated that. It's like a big weight off his shoulders. That's one.
Yeah.
And fair play to him. Good luck to him.
Yeah, well, absolutely. That's quite right. And he's got a good media team behind him, and one of these new breed that comes through that knows what everyone wants to see. On the socials and all that sort of stuff. Barry, where would you go next with this alcohol-free?
I don't think I'll be going to the Judmonte with her. Probably the Sun Chariot or somewhere like that, would you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, Sun Chariot probably give it. I mean, she's been busy enough, hasn't she? Because you've got to start off in the trials. She started off in the Fred Darling, didn't she? And then went to the Guineas, of course. It's a tough old route. A word for Poetic Flair. Not his ground, I think we can say that. Run his heart out really in second.
On his track.
Yeah, I think Barry makes a good point with the track.
Yeah.
Like
But then
ran down that camber.
Just shows how classy he is to still run a great race.
Yes, very much
Yeah,
so.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, plenty more to come your way here this week then on Racing Post Live. Myself, Dave Orton, Mattie Batch, Charlie Post and Barry Orr. We've got one left for you. It's the 410. There's the Betfair SP then. What was it? Nice, pretty much a 9-2 shot, wasn't it? So she was backed in the market. Snow Lantern went the other way. I think we will say that is very strong form in the Sussex. That is for sure. The narrative is set for the mile division now. It's also a division, isn't it, that has been relying on one horse for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, look at it was a slight disappointment we didn't get to see Palace Pier here, wasn't it, as well? You know, as in who I think we'd all agree is the best older miler in the world, isn't he?
Yeah. Yes. What's he going to do with these 3-year-olds? That's a question a lot of people will be asking now.
I think he's a fair
poster
standard
boy
to be aiming at. You know, as in like I think right now these 3-year-olds are still going to have to step up.
He'll go to France, won't he?
Yeah.
Won't matter what the ground is over there. Yeah. They have been teetering with the idea of stepping him up. Could he maybe say sayonara to the mile division and look at something like the Champion Stakes later on?
It'd be interesting, won't it?
It's an option.
He's had his enforced break, isn't he?
Looking how good the 3-year-olds, it's an option for Gosden to say, well, we might step up and try and avoid.
St Mark's Basilica.
Oh, man.
I mean, you presume he's going to stay at a mile and a quarter now.
Now you're talking. Yeah. Could he drop back to a mile even? I mean, he's probably tactically versatile. Some people thought he might even go up and trip for the Arc. So we have got...
I'm not sure I can see that.
There's a good point you actually made. We weren't sure about the 2-year-olds last year because of the truncated campaign we had, you know, with COVID hitting, but some backward sorts that are now really strutting their stuff, haven't we?
Yeah.
All right, talking about strutting your stuff, where are you going in the last race? Barry Orr.
Yeah, so it's not a race it's a race that I thought was really, really difficult. Illustrating's your favourite 3.5, Canonized 4.2, Francolina 6.8, 7 each of 2, Andorra and Lefeli, Paul Hannigan. And that's the one that I came down on, Richard Fahey's horse. Won in Beverley, won a novice race in Beverley over 5 furlongs on soft ground, hit a high of 180 in running that day. So did benefit from a bit of a pace collapse. It all happened very quick, but I just thought it showed a nice bit of promise. And at the price, currently 7.4, we're just going to have 25 quid on that to round out the day, please. Just in the win market, win only, 25 quid. Any of these can take a massive step forward. So 25 quid at 7.6 there. Happy to be a backer and to take the price to win about 160, 170 quid.
Okie dokie. There we are then. So this is interesting, isn't it? Okay, there's been a right gamble in this race though, Barry. I know there are 3 non-runners in it, but illustrating, she lines up with a bit to prove, having finished 7th at Royal Ascot in the Queen Mary, but the market has really come for this one. I'm surprised to see the price crash.
Yeah, even allowing for the Rule 4, she wasn't really that big, Dave. She was, about 4.9, so a little, nearly a 4-1 chance, but into 5-2 now for Danny Tudhope and Connections that had a winner earlier, didn't they? Carl Burke and Danny Tudhope and Clipper Logistics. So,
yes.
Money for 5-2 strong at the moment.
Yeah, this was the big double because, of course, it was the Ryan Yard, wasn't it, with the Last Empire, wasn't it, of course, for Clipper Logistics, and those famous all-grey silks. Okay, I like illuminating, illustrating, I should say. I think she will be the one here, still 6, I like that. She's one of these typical horses that just found Ascot a little bit too much, I think. And... Yeah. I think this ground will be all right. She's showcasing, as you said earlier, Posty, and I think that while Canonized is a course and distance winner, sort of, I can see Barry's angle in as well with the total unknown quantity that is Lafayette, who's got that rail draw. 5-2, whether I want to go in now, I don't know, but I think probably the right favourite for me anyway. Yeah,
I would agree with all of that. I think, like you say, she probably is skinny enough at the prices in against a few she's unexposed herself, but a few sort of more unknown quantities. The run at Royal Ascot was a very good run, a big step forward on debut, and this is definitely a drop back in class, you would say, at this stage of the season. So, yeah, I think she is the right favourite for this, and yeah, she is the one that I would be with, much as that we might, well, after this, see something like Lafayette come out and prove to be an above average 2-year-old as well, if that makes sense, you know? Yeah, I'm trying to think back at some of the last winners of this. Let me move on from the Sussex Stakes. It's now done and dusted. Still, what did you make of that, guys? Was that the right
trifecta out there for you. Do let us know you've got time still to get involved. Miss Jingles won this for Charlie Appleby. She was a last time out winner. An horse called Mrs. Bouquet as well for Mark Johnson. So last time out winners go well. So on that basis, Barry's pick and the Haggis train are canonised as well. Batch?
Canonised for me, yeah. I mean, illustrators agree with Poste, probably a drop in class. Looks like a worthy favourite, but the Haggis horse at Windsor won. It was keen, didn't have the clearest of runs. Everything went wrong, and she still won. So that impressed me. So I think she'd be given the one for the favourite to find most to do. So
Tom Marquand, he's got to have a winner, hasn't he?
got to have a winner.
So is William Haggis, as well. We've been knocking on the door as well, a little bit frustrating.
Yeah.
At what point does it get frustrating for Connections on a week like this? Now, after the first race? I mean, they're so competitive as we know, but when do you start thinking, is it going to be a long week?
Friday.
Do you know, I think probably it depends what sort of, where your best chances are. Does that make sense? As in,
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, off the top of my head, I'm not quite sure what William Haggis has got later in the week that he might say were real sort of his best shots. I mean, certainly if he thinks his best chance are Tuesday, Wednesday, well, he's probably starting to get a little bit irritable right now.
I think so, yes, very much so.
I think he's generally irritable, isn't he?
They actually say he's a gentleman to work for,
Yeah.
to be fair. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay, all right. All right, where are you going? Get your selections in for the last. What's Zach up to out there? He took the big winners earlier. Just at the time of the Sussex guys, again, looks like it's advertised, slow by 5.73 secs. Yeah. They controlled the pace a bit in that, but it's a Group 1, isn't it? So we've got to take it as tested. So should get quicker again by tomorrow. When does it become good ground? Maybe Friday. We just don't know with the forecast, do you? I mean, it doesn't look too bad, does it? But
No, as if it's a dry night tonight, on top of that downs,
windy.
yeah, maybe tomorrow might be a bit better. You're saying then Friday
You
will.
think back to Royal Ascot now, when we had that crazy week. Started on the beach-like weather, didn't we? And then nearly didn't race on the Friday. It was absolutely madness what we can get. Localised flooding, as I said yesterday on the show, does seem to become a bit buzzwordy, doesn't it? Yeah. What's that all about? You've seen London recently and some of the floods that they've had. I mean, absolutely bucketing out in the capital when I came in. I don't know about you guys. Sort of both walking from the station, I was like, aye, they're in a bit of trouble, aren't they? But not a
I took the coat off of the car at Brighton Station. It's all right, the sun's out.
Sun shines on the lights.
Pulled into Blackfriars.
I suppose we got a little bit lucky, didn't we? In the big festival last week, I just felt it a bit uncomfortable, didn't you? The heat, some of the horses, the sweating that you saw down there. It must have been tough to be involved in a racing.
Great for lying by a pool, isn't it?
Were you doing that?
No. Well, now and again in the afternoon, maybe.
Have you got a holiday
I saw
coming
a few Snapchats of Crowley sitting by his pool.
Did you?
Oh,
Have you been in touch with Jim recently, Batch?
No, he did ask me to drive a couple of weeks ago. I couldn't do it, so I was busy. But
Yeah, okay, fair.
he ain't invited me down by
When's
the pool.
the
He
next
ain't invited me
Batch
down
ride?
by the pool yet.
When's the next Batch ride?
8th of August, probably.
Back over in Jersey.
Yeah. Champion hurdle. Won it 3 times already, so it's a bit of a...
Where do you fly out from? The champion hurdler that is Mattie Batch. Where do you fly
Jersey
out
Charlie Swan, I am.
from? It's the rack, fantastic. Okay.
Gatwick.
So how do you get... Okay, so which is very close to you because you're a Brighton boy,
half
aren't
an
you?
hour, yeah. So,
Yeah.
And then the flight's about half hour, 40
Who do you
minutes.
stay with when you go over there?
Just a friend who works on the start, so
Okay.
he does...
Is it like I imagine it being like sort of up Posty Street, like a very posh point to point? Is it like that? Or was a picnic?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we've got wham rooms. There's an upgrade.
Never been to Jersey. Always wanted to go.
Should come over, Dave. I'm telling you.
Bergerac was even from Jersey.
Bergerac, yeah. Jim Nettles, isn't it?
You're all thinking of that theme
Jim
tune now.
Nettle.
Anyways. Don't sing it. No one sing it.
Yeah, if you come over to Jersey, you could be one of my mules and get me some tobacco.
I thought he was going to invite me over for a nice, racing
That's
trip.
another pack of tobacco I'm gonna have.
I've got mates that own pubs and stuff like that. Always ask me to do that whenever I go through the duty free and all that sort of stuff. Ever been to Jersey?
Can I tell you a story about Jersey, about the tobacco?
Please do.
It was a bit of a nightmare. So, 15 years I've been going to Jersey. Come back through Gatwick, you come back through your own little spot. I have never, ever seen anyone there. Walk out straight through. Right, okay. So I've got some tobacco, spread it amongst my mules, all the young apprentices. So we get down there waiting for their bags. I went, right, that's all right, pass it here now, I'll be all right now, I'm not waiting for your bags, Mr. Impatient. Grabbed all my stuff, walked round the corner. Where you would have thought Pablo Escobar was coming through.
You were.
Ew.
The Jersey Escobar.
The Jersey Royal.
It was it. They took the lot.
Did they really?
He pulled it. He said, "Can we have a look in your?
Oh no.
Can we have a look?" I said, "Yeah, yeah." He said, "How many?" I said, "2, yeah." And in the bag, I went, "Yeah, another 2." He went.
202.
He said, "Well, the problem is," he said, "you've walked past the phone." I said, "Sorry?" He went, "You've walked past the phone." I've looked over. There's a phone on the wall. If you declare, you have to. I said, "You've got to give me a bit of a break, mate." I said, "I can't even reach the phone, let alone seen it." But he didn't find that very funny.
Oh, I bet he didn't. Did you try and sort of funny your way out of it then?
Yeah, I tried to, yeah. I said, "So what? Well, I'm allowed that many. Can I have that?" "No, we're
Was
taking
it just
it
a confiscation? He did get slapped on the
yeah,
wrist or anything
that's
like that?
it,
Yeah, okay. Not just, so no wonder you want a mule like me to go through. Wouldn't be stopping me, would they? Probably have a quick look at Batchelor and then go,
Yeah.
flag! Yeah, absolutely.
The old red flag was waving. Yeah.
Yeah. In seriousness, though, I would love to go, so set it up for us.
Set it up, yeah.
This could be a Racing Post live trip, couldn't it?
Yes, okay, so of course we don't support that out there. That was Mattie Batch, he's on his own. Of course, his opinions are all his own. Don't go through Jersey and try and do that because it doesn't end well, does it?
No, it doesn't end well.
All right, fair enough. Unlike this show, which is going to end on an absolute flyer. I cannot wait. I've not had a bad day today, I've got to say. I think, was it just one I've had out of the frame? I think, but a couple of winners. But after the day I had yesterday, I needed it to come back. So, Barry, a market update then, since we've been talking. Canonised, the one putting it up to illustrating at the moment.
Illustrating still your favourite at 3-6, 4 Canonised, 6-4 Frankella, Anadora and LaFale are 7.2 each of 2, 21 Willoughby Bay and 110 Mary of Modena. So yeah, still your favourite illustrating for Danny Tudhope.
Okay, all right then, yeah. Who's on a double, of course, for the Clipper Logistics. All right. What are we looking forward to equine-wise for the rest of the week? Obviously, Batage, isn't it?
Yeah, Batchelor. Like I said to you, Lady Bowthorpe in there.
Oh, yeah, that's the shout, yeah.
Gets a bit of retribution because, yeah, I mean, it was one of those days that make you cry, wasn't it, the last day?
And the form has just been big-time boosted. First and a third in the Group 1, of course, yeah.
Yeah, Batash, I love horses that go back to the same course.
Going for a 5th consecutive win.
He's farmed that race now, and I think that's his track. I think everything suits him there, and it'd be good to see him do it again.
No, I'm just getting something through from our social team, actually. You know that when you were talking about your golf success at the start of the week?
Yeah.
Well, it turned out that Rupert Bell was listening to this, and he's called you, I don't know, I'm not sure if I can say this, but he called you a cheating bar steward.
Oh,
Which
Rupert.
is what you are.
You
I
say it the way
suppose.
Rupert would say it.
Cheating bastard. One of the great characters of the game. Well done, Rupert, if you're watching. Happy days. Yeah, so listen, absolutely. You were that. Next year, they're going to put you another 5
Rupert,
shots on.
I think we need a significant cut for next year when he
He won't even invite me
If
next
you're listening, Rupert, and I get an invite, I haven't played for years.
Yeah.
Which is actually true. Do you know what, on another complete aside, my first job after leaving school was as a greenkeeper.
Was it?
It was, yeah. I've got a course near me called Beaconsfield, which is a private members course, long waiting list and all that sort of stuff. And some of my mates were greenkeepers, and I thought, well, maybe I'll go and give it a go. I'd asked until the winter, when it all, absolutely unbelievable, those buggy bikes around there. And they stitched me right up on my first day as well, so I should have known what I was going to do. You used to have these mower things called Nationals, and used to sort of drive around the car. I love this is great. Afternoon governor, all this sort of thing. But yes, I've been here for years, all this sort of thing. I was quite good at it. They're very proud greenkeepers there as well. They told me to basically pull it up and then lever it down. I completely forgot on the stitch up. So I drove around the whole course with the mower down still. I've gone past the chairman's office, gone past the secretary, the pro and all that sort of stuff. They're all like, what are you doing? It's like something out of Caddyshack, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
I envisioned them all running around the course after you.
It was a little bit like that. And the greenkeeper who set me up was like, oh my goodness, am I going to be in trouble? I think I lasted about 6 weeks. But I used to play a little bit, but racing gets in the way a little bit, doesn't it? So there you go, complete and utter aside story for you.
I think Rupert only plays a little bit, looking at his game the other day.
Like kills.
We've turned up at a green, he had a chip over the green. So me being me, I was just about to take his shot. I said, what you like under pressure, Roops? I said, we're all watching you now. And he thinned it across the green.
Wow, unbelievable season, did he really? So, I mean, Keels and Bruce play a couple of times a week, so they should. Where did they actually finish on the?
I don't think they were in the free.
How many teams were there? 4. That's a bit harsh.
Is that part of the Racing Post expenses package? A couple of rounds of golf a week?
Wouldn't really know. It's not something I've ever really done, to be honest. Not really, no, not really. So I don't know. Maybe as I become a bit more of a profile. I might get on these things. But Barry's played with many of people. Usual.
It's a
Barry
HWPA.
would, really.
It's sponsored. Yeah, it's sponsored, but it's HWPA members. It's made up of that attended and playing the golf day.
Yeah, I think I must be a member of that.
HWPA Awards, of course, back in December. Looking forward to that. I think I had a message saying how many tables should we book earlier on. We've missed that, haven't we?
Yeah.
I usually see you there. That's a rip-roar of a day.
Oh, I enjoyed that one, yeah.
At the Royal Lancaster Hotel. Barry, will you be over for that?
Certainly will, yeah. We'll have our customary table there. Wouldn't miss it. The first Monday in December.
Oh, maybe I'll have a choice of tables then this
Or
year.
is it a Tuesday?
It is the first
Get
Tuesday,
invited,
isn't it? Yeah, first Tuesday.
Tuesday.
In December.
We get
It's a
invited.
great
Me
day.
and Poste to get invited, weren't we?
Well,
Actually, I went with I was on a table with Nigel Tinkler actually, yeah.
Are you?
And he had some great owners, good crack, but when people are going up to give their acceptance speeches, these boys are getting quite raucous and they kept seeing people looking
It's
over.
done really well, isn't it? I wonder who's hosting it this year. It's usually the broadcast of the year that does it, isn't it? So I can't remember who the broadcast of the year was last year. I know that we won.
There wasn't one, was there? Oh, there was. There was a postal vote, yeah.
I can't remember who it was. I know
Obviously, there was no awards, but
we cleaned up at a few. Oh, David Carr, Racing Right of the Year, we had reporter, of course. Chris Cook now is in our little army of workers as well. I wonder if Chris is going down to Goodwood as well. We are, just to let you know, we are at half time. We're going to zoom into the track tomorrow. We're going to go and visit the guys on track as well. That's something that we're going to bring in the second part of the week. Tomorrow on the panel, we've got Keith Melrose coming in for a double stint. Tom Collins will be with him as well. Confidence all the way, I'm sure. Bruce Millington joins us back on Friday. Cannot wait for that. It's always good fun. He'll be in with Keith as well. And then on Saturday, Nat Green comes back. She's always good fun, isn't she? We know that you love her out there. And Andrew Mount, the professor, comes back in as well for Stewards Cup Day. Numbers all the way. Big draw day, isn't it? Has anyone looked at the Golden Mile yet? You probably had no time to look at decks. Scrambling on the way here, pulling yourself up from the... Of
course.
I mean, you have done really well today. Let me just put that in your corner.
Yeah, thank you.
We were fearing for you when we heard about your night last night.
Yeah.
You're an absolute pro.
Oh, look, stamina's always been my forte.
Well, indeed, Welsh national winning.
Exactly, yeah.
Rider. Quite right, absolutely.
I'd had to bite my tongue. Yeah.
Did you?
I had to bite my tongue.
Still looking fit as well. All right, we're having some fun then here on RP Live. We've got one race left. It's 10 minutes away. We're watching Oisin Murphy now. Beaming smile from Oisin in the Sussex sun.
Yeah, rightly so, yeah. Enjoys it. And he's a great credit to the sport, as you say. He's good in the media side of it. He doesn't hide away whether he does things right or does things wrong. He comes out and apologises and... Yeah, so that's what you need in this game.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. And I'm sure we'll see lots on social from Oisin as well, won't we? What I like about Oisin, if someone gives him a bit of stick, he likes them, doesn't he, on that sort of thing on Twitter? You often see
That's the way to deal with
That's the way
people
to go
like
back.
that. Yeah,
isn't it?
it's...
Absolutely, yeah.
Embarrass them.
Yeah.
Do you get any comments when you put up your social media with the schooling and stuff like that?
Well,
Wasn't there one of you recently, a horse played around with you, didn't he, a little bit? He looked sort of like, you couldn't hold on to this little baby horse. I remember seeing one.
those,
It didn't go quite right for you, did it, if I'm right?
No,
Do you have a lot of stick on that, do you?
There's some nasty people out there, though, on that social media.
We were talking about this yesterday, yeah.
I mean, Posty, we've all experienced it, and it's... I mean, some of the things you see and read. It's
Well, we saw it, of course. Listen, I don't want to go into it too much with the Euros and that. We saw it. That was about as sick as it got.
Yeah.
We had the boycott, the social media boycott. Indeed, this show came off there. You know, we supported it very much. All the social media channels. Where do you stand with the needing to prove your ID and stuff? Is that a little bit too far?
No, I don't think it is. As in, I
We
think
do it in the betting world, don't we? For example, if you join a bookmaker, Betfair, I don't
I
know.
put something up there, and a guy messaged me saying about that, and the guy messaged me saying, "Oh, you know, that he protects his identity for personal reasons or whatever." But he has no. But he said he had no concern with having to provide ID to, you know, to have the account in place. But he didn't want to have his own name as his Twitter handle, which again, I don't have a problem with that. But I do think behind the scenes, if you should be held to account, shouldn't you? Surely,
Yeah.
if you're going to go and racially abuse someone or, you know, put stuff out there that is unsavoury and just it's just not.
I think it says a lot about a person if you've got to hide behind a facade anyway. If you've got...
Yeah.
Do you know, if you're putting up a false name, then to me that's where it should stop. If you give your ID, you want to go under a false name or no, not for me.
It's getting a bit.
Everything's got to be now. Everything's got to be out in the open.
Talked about David Manuzia yesterday on the show and how he takes it on the let's have the chat. He almost tries to sort of like sort these people out.
But there's some people out there, Dave, that there's just no talking to.
There really isn't.
You just can't.
Yeah.
And I think that is great what David Manuzia is saying. And I mean, I'd try and do that myself, but it's not for everyone, is it?
No. Very unsavoury stuff out there. We know our viewers aren't like that, of course, absolutely not. We love hearing from you. I'm hearing from the producer at the moment, there's a bit of chat going on in the boxes about, we were talking earlier about the 2-year-olds from last year and stuff like that. The ones that haven't gone on, where's your Wembleys? And Thunder Moon bounced back, didn't he, and stuff like that. But some haven't gone on. Serpentine for the Derby. Santiago, what's happened to him?
Serpentine, I mean, like... Oh.
Yeah. But at least they've got some Marks Basilica now. That's the big one, Barry, isn't it, for them this year? They've got that 3-year-old colt. And as for the fillies, they're still lauding it there as well.
That just happens, though, don't they? They don't train on from 2 to 3, and it's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, but St Mark's Basilica, Barry, he's the big one. Could he be the next super sire for them?
I'm sure they'll be hoping for that, all right, Dave. He's a decent prospect, isn't he? He's carried all before him this year. Be interesting to see what the Juddmonte next for him, maybe, and I don't think he's going to be an ARC contender considering it's such a strong hand they have in the ARC. Maybe not so with Love after getting beaten on Saturday, but they definitely have with Snowfall. And she's clear favourite now for the ARC at 7-2. But yeah, St Mark's Basilica is a really, really smart prospect. Be interesting to see if they keep him in training for next year. Worth noting as well, No Nay Never, their sire, sired alcohol free. And so that's a good feather in his cap.
They've still got very many fingers in pies, haven't they? Down under in America, you see these horses and go, oh, look, that's, absolutely, yeah. It's just that, yeah. I suppose the Wootton Bassett thing, our regular viewers will know that Barry's been putting that up. That was one that they tried to invest in. It will come along. I think they just needed that colt, didn't they? And obviously now they've got it. It'll be interesting, again, the temptation to stretch out a colt like that must be huge, because if you think back to the Eclipse, he was one of the last off the bridle. Mishriff cruised, didn't he? And he looked in a little bit of trouble, then it kicked in. So
the only thing is, we're in a world now that's dominated by speed. As in, I don't think there's a huge amount to be gained from him as a sire prospect, stepping up to 1.5 miles now. As in, everyone's looking to put speed into the horses.
He's a Sayuni, so he's never going to get 1.5 miles, nor is his progeny. So that speed angle, and they can crossbreed him, I'm sure, then to the Galileo mares.
Yeah, it's almost the fillies that they experiment with now. Sometimes you'll see, a Galileo by Sprinter or something like that, or a No Nay Never to a Galileo mare or something like that. Doesn't always work out. The fillies, they do tend to get it right with. But anyway, fascinating stuff going forward.
Another proper bluebird pedigree in here, haven't we, with Frankella, Arabian Queen. Was that not the Juddmonte International?
Yes. She came in for some chat recently on this show. She beat the Great Golden Horn, of course, and that, didn't she? Nicked it from the front, as they said. Yeah, Frankella, a winner at the July course. Probably forgive the run last time. You need to be quite forgiving, I think, Posty, wouldn't you?
You do need to be quite. I mean, look, as in, I'm not saying that she's going to go on and become a seriously good race mare, but yeah, just from a pedigree point of view, I think it shows well the quality of these mares that Frankel is getting all the time,
Oh yeah, absolutely. She's tiny as well, this Frankel, isn't she, as well? I seem to remember when she won on the July course. I again struggle to see a real turn up here. We've got a couple of outsiders, haven't we, as well? The unraced Willoughby Boy for Charles Hills, Batash trainer, and I suppose Anadora for Kevin Stott and Kevin Ryan could show a bit more. She's been freshened up since she disappointed last time, or perhaps was found out a little bit. Canonised then, the drying of the ground, loads of experience. Stall 8, Tom Marquand, getting a little bit tetchy, is he? Not had the winner yet?
No, he'd be right. Cool as a cucumber, our Tom.
Just trying to make it too dramatic, aren't I? Guilty as charged. All right, we've still got 3 bumper days coming your way, but one more race to go. And they are making their way down to the start. Certainly not going to be deposed as favourite, Barry. Or is she? Looks like Canonised is definitely hardening up.
Illustrating very strong 3.55, 4-1 Canonised, 6-4 Frankella, 8 and the fail is 6-8 now. That's come in for decent support, the one that we backed.
I guess whatever wins this, Barry, you'd be thinking about the Lauder, wouldn't you? So, Barry, come on. When are you going to make your debut back on British shores then? When's that going to happen? It's been a while.
Yeah, it certainly has. I don't know. I'll have to get a good look at the diary. I'll definitely be over in September. I might go to the EBOR meeting in York, but I have a lot of commitments. Like, I have a new way of working now in terms of from the office where I am here at home, and I'm a lot more productive as well than if I'm doing a lot of traveling around the UK. So yeah, it's probably 1 and 4 I'll go to now, as opposed to all the festivals that I used to go to.
Yeah, I wondered whether it might be Ebor, because I was thinking that maybe the winner of this might go to Lowther or something like that if you're sizzling. We've got all that to come. Of course, we will be covering every Saturday for you. That's the plan, isn't it, in 2021? But we will be doing some surprise meetings for you as well, without teasing anything there. But plenty to come. Let's hope you've been enjoying the show. If you have, like and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook Live. Keep going on the chat. The panelists will read that feedback. We've got some great feedback throughout the week. Numbers are great. Plenty going on, as you might expect, on the Racing Post website as well. You'll be able to get all your quotes, post-race quotes. What will they be saying about Poetic Flair and defeat? They're the fascinating ones, what you in your members club. And of course, you'll be getting the tips from Keels for tomorrow. Tom Segal, 6 o'clock. Digital edition tonight at 9 p.m. as well. Unmissable stuff on these big weeks. Apart from the Ebor, this is the last big week of the festivals, isn't it? Amazing how they come and go, isn't it?
Flies through, doesn't it?
It's great though with the flat season, the way it does sort of flow from festival to
The
festival.
narrative. This is something that Barry flagged a couple of weeks ago. He's absolutely right. Yeah, yes. All about Cheltenham, is it? Something that it's a bit of a bugbear for you, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I think it gets boring going on about it, but yeah.
Dublin gave it a bit of a shake-up, didn't it, last season?
Yeah, it did. Look, I mean, I think the Irish are getting it a lot nearer to probably the way it did with the Christmas festival and then the Dublin Racing Festival, and they of course then move on to Punchestown, but with Cheltenham and Aintree in between them. But yeah, I do think it's something that it'd be interesting to see it shaken up a bit.
What do you make of the Racing League that starts tomorrow night?
I was about to ask the same question. Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, great minds.
Yeah.
Great minds. Starts at Newcastle tomorrow night. Big players have committed to it, 50 grand races. There's been a lot of talk, though, at a lower level, haven't they? We had Mr. Millman in yesterday saying perhaps everyone that inquired maybe didn't get a look in, so...
He gets a bit like that.
He gets a bit fiery, doesn't he?
Millman.
Yeah. I heard, was it Grant Tura as well that I saw he do it?
Yes, he did. He basically said not for all, didn't he, or something like that, or for those that were lucky enough, or something like that.
But
yeah, Grant's had a great breakthrough year.
Yeah, and he's going phenomenally well. But I mean, maybe we're going to see that this is going to be a year which tried. I think it's brilliant for the sport, trying new things. I mean, I don't know if you've been watching the 100, the cricket, which I just think is fantastic.
Bits and pieces when I get a chance, bits and pieces.
Trying different things to get more people involved and watching the sport.
I think our sport needs it as well.
Maybe if it works out, it might be opened up to everyone next year to kind of get more involved.
I think our sport needs it. They're doing it in every sport, aren't they?
We've got to get behind it as well, haven't we? It's worth trying these things.
Of course it is, yeah.
That's what Rodders said yesterday when he was on G-Rod, of course. OK, yes, here we go. Back to some social selections then. We've been asking for them. Got to back Frank Keller, says Dominic Keller. That rhymed. There you go. With the ABOM combo, Andrew Balding, Oisin Murphy, and Jeff Smith, of course, in the colours. This would be a quick race double, wouldn't it? We saw this yesterday for Holly Doyle. Could it now be Oisin that goes and mops up the rest of the card? They are in then. The lucky last, as has always been said in racing. Here on Racing Post Live, it is the 410. No group race action here, but will we see group class fillies? I think so.
Great prize money as well.
Go on.
25 grand on offer to the winner here.
That's absolutely does stand out as well, doesn't it? Yeah, so quite interesting that we've got some newcomers in this race as well. Could the unraced Willoughby Boy be a slightly above average for the Hills Yard? We're about to find out. It's always tricky with the 2-year-olds getting them in, isn't it? Always tricky. When do you start to get alarmed when you're sitting on a 2-year-old and you're thinking to yourself, oh, this is definitely...
When it's about to disappear under the gate.
Yeah,
Or go up in the air.
They are in and they are off, though. How's the newcomer away? Not bad, Willoughby Boy, if you took a big chance on the outsider. But leading on the inside, this is where you want to be, says Barry Orr. LaFela then. Paul Hannigan. Could he get his first win of the week? Past the 4-pole they go. Canonise just in behind. Illustrating up there. Frank Keller up there as well. Mary of Medina. Looking on from the rear is Anadora. And like I say, the Willoughby Boy broke all right, but has been restrained. Posty?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think a sensible gallop on. Frank Keller setting the fractions with Oisin Murphy, looking for the double on the day. I think we're very happy though, at the moment with Illustrating.
Yeah,
Danny
she looks
Todd
good.
poised, waiting to challenge.
Canonise needs a bit of a run, but she
Needs
is
a
the
break.
course and distance
Needs a
winner.
split
Oh,
through.
I tell you what, this could be a good filly, couldn't she? Didn't quite show it in the Queen Mary. This faster track, though. Now Danny Todd, he presses the button. This is game over, isn't it?
Yeah,
the market.
game
Come on, Danny.
Anadora looks like he's got it. Posty's got his winner
on,
on the
Danny.
line. The
Go on,
Stantrail is the place to
Posty.
be. And it looks like Canonise is going to give this a nice bit of form in second. Anadora third, but that was easy
Lovely.
peasy. Illustrating then has absolutely lit up the last. All about the Lowther for her. Barry Orr.
Anadora held on for second, did she?
Anna Dora was second.
I think she did. Yeah. Barry Orr. That was a bridal job to the 2 furlong pole. That's when she went low.
Yeah, she's big odds on from 2.5 out even, Dave. She didn't trade any higher than her pre-race mark of 4.9, which was for small money as well. She had a Betfair SP of 3.23. So very well fancied and delivered delivered for punters.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. And it's a big race double for Clipper Logistics then. Who was with illustrating it? One of the plunges of the day, I think, because honestly, I was keen to get with this at 4-1. It's one of those where I missed the price. I know I put it up, but she's won like a good thing, isn't she? All about the Lowther?
I think it would make obvious sense now, wouldn't it? Like, she's seen this out very well. Carl Burke, Northern trainer. I think the owners, Clipper Logistics, love to have winners there. So I'd say she'd be going to the Ebor meeting.
And the Ryans have gone another place. They'll be warming up for Glass Slippers on Friday as well. Canonise ran all right, didn't it? It's just probably just is what she is.
Is what she is. And, yeah, the winner looks a nice horse going forward. And I'm sure we'll be stepping up in class sooner or later. She's done that very easy.
Super stuff. All right, then. What a day it has been here on Racing Post Live. Really, really enjoyed the action today. Really enjoyed the viewer interaction as well. And Barry Orr, another super day. We've got 3 more to go, man.
3 more to go. Yeah, looking forward to it. We're getting the trip well, Dave. In good company as well. Isn't that what they say? Keep yourself in the best of company and your horses in the worst.
Oh, you've done that today, Barry.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to miss this pair, aren't we, Barry?
Good to see the double act. I don't think we'll laugh as much tomorrow, Dave. That's for sure.
You never know.
I don't think you will, yeah.
Great trading, Posty. There was just the little wobble, but you brought it back.
Well, look, it's a new thing to me today. I got to go double-handed with the exchange and the sportsbook. But, yeah, I mean, I think I'm warming up, aren't I? Sort of gradually building into this role as a full-time punter.
That's it, a Betfair badge waiting to go to him, absolutely. There you go. Foolproof, Barry called it, and it turned out it was. Thanks, Posty. Always good to end on a winner.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a slightly frustrating day. De Hale and Onassis didn't have the greatest luck in running.
Crossbars, we call it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and then, Illustrating was very good in the last, so.
Good luck with the operation.
Cheers, mate.
Let us know some good things waiting to come out in the points. Can't wait for that. Batch. All about the Jersey Royal then next
All about the Jersey, yeah. See if we can regain the title.
Always a pleasure having you in, Batch.
Always a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Great stuff. Always a pleasure having you on. Join us tomorrow, 1:30 here on RP Live. It's the Thursday.